Phoenix Nights. Chapter 1595. Lin Feng and Ling Wu Xian continued walking and finally arrived in the depths of the empty space. Look, there's a huge whirlpool. Ling Wuxin pointed. The whirlpool vaguely formed a huge, distorted door. Lin Feng could not help but frown slightly when he saw the whirlpool. He said, "Could that be the passage to the netherworld?" Ling Wuxin nodded and said, "That might be possible." Both of them looked around the whirlpool. Finally, Lin Feng's gaze stopped on a stone tablet. The stone tablet was pitch black in color. It emitted a cold and gloomy aura. Soul Seal Stone. Lin Feng was shocked. He had once read about the Soul Seal Stone in a Taoist scripture. The Soul Seal Stone was a Sun Mother Stone. The Sun Mother Stone was divided into two types of stones, the Sun Stone and the Mother Stone. The Mother Stone could control the Sun Stone. The Soul Seal Stone in front of him was undoubtedly the Sun Stone. The Soul Seal Stone could imprison a cultivator's soul. It was very strange for a Soul Seal Stone to appear here. Lin Feng could not help but feel puzzled. In this place? Why would a Soul Seal Stone appear here? Is that the Soul Seal Stone? I've heard of it before, but this is my first time seeing it. The Soul Seal Stone can imprison souls. Moreover, it's a treasure that poses a great threat to souls. Ling Wuxin said. Lin Feng said, "Could it be that the Netherlord's soul has been imprisoned?" Ling Wuxin pondered for a moment before he said, "The Netherlord guards the passages between the Netherworld and the other worlds. Logically speaking, this should be a pretty good position, right? Does the Netherworld need to imprison the Netherlords with Soul Seal Stones? There's no need for that at all." "No." Lin Feng shook his head. Lin Wuxuan looked at Lin Feng in confusion. "What? What do you think is wrong?" Lin Feng said. "In soldiers make way, living beings make way. The Nether soldiers were the living beings of the underworld, and the living beings of the underworld were probably suppressed by some kind of heavenly law. They were not allowed to go to other worlds as they pleased. Therefore, the Nether soldiers would usually appear at night, and they would pass through some dangerous places where no one would appear. These Netherlords, on the other hand, were guarding the passageways between the underworld and other worlds. They had been so lonely and desolate throughout the long years. Tell me, did they not want to break away from the underworld? Enter the human world and enjoy a life of freedom? This? Ling Wuxin fell into deep thought. Because she felt that Lin Feng's reasoning was really worth thinking about. People who had freedom. He would never know how much those who were imprisoned yearned for freedom. So many people for freedom. He did not hesitate to sacrifice his own life. Ling Wuxin said, "Perhaps it's just as you said. The Soul Sealing Stone is used to imprison the Netherlord's soul. If that's the case, isn't the Soul Sealing Stone the Netherlord's nemesis? Let's go and get the Soul Sealing Stone now. With the Soul Sealing Stone, it'll be easier to suppress the Netherlord." Ling Wuxin was about to move to collect the stone tablet. However, Lin Feng caught her. "What are you doing?" Ling Wuxin's eyes turned cold instantly. Although she was temporarily in an alliance with Lin Feng, she had never been in contact with a man before. She was still the Grand Elder of the Palace of Cold Blood who had cut off all relationships. Lin Feng pointed to the distance. Ling Wuxin looked over. She saw a black figure walking toward the Soul Sealing Stone step by step. It was none other than the Netherlord. Ling Wuxin's expression changed slightly when she saw the Netherlord. "We can't stay here any longer. Let's go," Lin Feng said. He and Ling Wuxin left silently. "The Netherlord has returned to the depths of the realm. With him here, we can't collect the Soul Sealing Stone. What should we do now?" Ling Wuxin's expression was slightly gloomy. Lin Feng said, "He'll come out sooner or later. When he comes out, we'll go and collect the Soul Sealing Stone." Ling Wuxin nodded. The howls of wild beasts could be heard from time to time in the forest. There were many powerful wild beasts living in the Netherworld cave. Of course, these wild beasts could hardly pose a threat to Lin Feng and Ling Wuxin. The bonfire burned brightly. The roasted meat on it was golden in color, and its aroma filled the air. Lin Feng cut a piece of roasted meat with his dagger and passed it to Ling Wuxin. I don't eat these things. They're not beneficial to my cultivation, Ling Wuxin said coldly. She took out a spirit fruit and ate it in small bites. Lin Feng said, Life isn't about cultivation. You have to know how to enjoy life. That's a crooked idea. Ling Wuxin snorted. Seeking immortality is the true meaning of life. Everything that hinders cultivation should be abandoned. For example, how many impurities are in the roasted meat in your hand? Lin Feng asked. Why do you seek immortality? Ling Wuxin was speechless at Lin Feng's question. For 500,000 years she had been cultivating diligently, and her cultivation had been constantly improving. But life seemed to be following a routine. One thing after another. She repeated it every day. She didn't know how many times she had repeated it. Lin Feng said, Life should be learned to enjoy it, whether it's physical or mental. Ling Wuxin wanted to refute, but in the end, she just snorted and didn't say anything. Lin Feng, on the other hand, was eating meat and drinking wine in large mouthfuls. Seeing Lin Feng eating so happily, she asked about the fragrant roasted meat. Ling Wuxin couldn't help but want to try the roasted meat. She looked at the roasted meat from time to time. But in the end, she looked away. She looked again. Then, she looked away again. Lin Feng laughed inwardly. This woman, she must be craving it too, right? Humans couldn't live without meat. If someone didn't eat meat for a long time, let's see if you're craving it. Lin Feng cut a piece of meat and passed it to Ling Wuxin, saying, Eating meat will allow you to recover faster. This will allow us to be in the best condition to deal with possible dangers. Ling Wuxin snorted. I was determined not to touch this kind of food, but in order to deal with the upcoming danger, I'm eating some. Women always like to find a reason or an excuse to cover themselves up when they did something. Lin Feng naturally wouldn't expose Ling Wuxin. Ling Wuxin took a small bite of the roasted meat, and her eyes lit up. Then, she began to wolf it down. Not long after, a large piece of roasted meat was finished by Ling Wuxin. Cut me another piece, Ling Wuxin said. I thought you didn't like it, Lin Feng said with a smile. Why do you care? Ling Wuxin glared at Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't dare to offend this lady, so he quickly cut a piece of roasted meat and passed it to her. Then, he passed her a wine jar and said, Good wine with roasted meat, the taste is not ordinary. Come, try it. Ling Wuxin hesitated for a moment, then took the wine jar and drank a small mouthful, choking and coughing. You've never even drunk wine before? Oh my God! How did you survive all these years? Could it be that you're living like a walking corpse? That's too boring. Lin Feng shook his head. Ling Wuxin snorted. You're the one who's living like a walking corpse. My life is also colorful, isn't it just wine? I've drunk more wine than you've ever seen. After Ling Wuxin finished speaking, she gulped down a few mouthfuls. Chapter 1596. Screams could be heard. Lin Feng was also woken up. When he opened his eyes, he found Ling Wuxin looking at him with a face full of grief and anger. Ling Wuxin's clothes were half undone. The boundless spring scenery was right in front of his eyes, and his clothes were in a mess. What did you do to me? Ling Wuxin looked at Lin Feng angrily, and quickly covered his body with his hands. Even his undergarments were pulled off. One could imagine what happened last night. I drank too much. Lin Feng patted his head. Seeing Ling Wuxin's murderous gaze, he quickly ran out of the cave where he was resting. Ling Wuxin gritted her teeth in hatred, but she was also extremely shy. She didn't have any good feelings towards men. But obviously, something that shouldn't have happened last night. Ling Wuxin even saw some red marks on his body. They really looked like hickeys. Ling Wuxin even had the heart to die. The only thing that made Ling Wuxin feel a little relieved was that his clothes were not taken off by Lin Feng. Fortunately, he didn't suffer the most serious violation. After putting on his clothes, Ling Wuxin rushed out angrily. I'm going to kill you! Ling Wuxin chased after Lin Feng. Lin Feng quickly ran away, and said as he ran, "What happened last night was a misunderstanding. Who still remembers what happened? Let's just pretend that nothing happened and forget about what happened last night." "You're still talking?" Lin Wuxin gritted his teeth in anger, wishing that he could cut Lin Feng into 1,000 pieces. She had never thought that such a day would come. With a man, that kind of thing would happen. Although, her bottom line had not been crossed. But his body was exposed. The hickeys and even some bruises on his body were enough to show how intense and crazy the battle last night was. To Ling Wuxin, many things that she had once held on to had collapsed in an instant. "I won't say any more, as long as it can calm you down," Lin Feng shouted. Ling Wuxin said hatefully, "I knew you were up to no good. You gave me wine yesterday because you wanted to get me drunk and do something shameful. I was actually tricked by you." Lin Feng felt wronged. The wine was indeed given by him. But yesterday, you were the one who showed off. When you drank a jar, I even advised you not to drink anymore. But you just had to drink. Moreover, after drinking the second jar, he wanted a third jar. I didn't want to give it to you, and you even threatened to beat me up. Well, you can drink as much as you want. You can have as much wine as you want. Because he drank too much, something happened. You actually came to blame me? However, Lin Feng did not say these words out loud. Men and women quarreled. No matter who was right or wrong. It was right for a man to admit his mistake. Never try to reason with a woman. This was because an angry woman could not be reasoned with. They wouldn't listen to any reason. You go and reason with them. It would only enrage the other party even more. Therefore, Lin Feng stopped talking and ran away quickly. Ling Wuxin scolded Lin Feng as he chased after Lin Feng. "Look, isn't that the palace of Cold Blood's great elder, Lin Wuxin, and that unknown kid? Ling Wuxin looks like he wants to kill someone. Did that kid offend Ling Wuxin?" This was Zhang Qingyuan's group. When they saw Lin Feng and Ling Wuxin, one of the immortal state cultivators said. Zhang Qingyuan said, "The palace of Cold Blood is a bunch of crazy women. They will kill you if they don't agree with you. It's best if both of them are injured and die. Then, we don't have to do anything. It's possible that the kid was killed by Ling Wuxin, but it's impossible for both of them to be injured. Ling Wuxin is the strongest among us. He's one step into the true immortal state," one of the immortal state cultivators said. "Then think of a way to lure Ling Wuxin to the mountain range we prepared beforehand. That place is specially prepared for Ling Wuxin," Zhang Qingyuan said with a sinister smile. After Lin Feng ran for a day, Ling Wuxin seemed to have calmed down a little. She stopped scolding Lin Feng. Lin Feng finally dared to speak. He said, "Fairy Lung, I was wrong. You're as beautiful as a fairy, and I've admired you for a long time. I couldn't control myself after drinking, so I did something I shouldn't have done. I deserved to die. However, we're in a dangerous situation now, so the most important thing now is to find a way to get out of the Netherworld cave. I won't complain if you want to kill me or torture me." Ling Wuxin snorted and stopped chasing after Lin Feng. Lin Feng let out a long breath. This great ant had finally calmed down. However, Ling Wuxin's cold expression made Lin Feng's heart beat faster. She wouldn't suddenly go crazy, would she? Fortunately, Ling Wuxin didn't attack him again. She just remained cold and didn't say a word to Lin Feng. She was like an iceberg. Actually, Lin Feng didn't know that Ling Wuxin's heart was in a mess. A woman's heart was sensitive. Women were also the most sensitive. Ling Wuxin once thought that she had cut off her relationship. However, she realized that it wasn't the case at all. After having an ambiguous relationship with Lin Feng, Ling Wuxin's heart was in a mess. Now, he had a cold look on his face. She didn't want to expose the panic in her heart. Lin Feng and Ling Wuxin finally regained their temporary peace. They came to a small stream to rest while thinking about their next plan. At this moment, a group of people flew over from afar. It was Zhang Qingyuan and the others. "What are you doing here?" Ling Wuxin looked at Zhang Qingyuan and the others coldly. Zhang Qingyuan quickly said, Please don't misunderstand. We didn't seek refuge with the Netherlord. With your cultivation base, you can easily sense that we're free now, and there's no nether demonic slave oath rune in our bodies. Lin Feng nodded and said, Indeed, you didn't become a nether demonic slave. Didn't you say that you wanted to seek refuge with the Netherlord? Why? The Netherlord didn't take a liking to you? Pfft. Lang Wuxin couldn't help but laugh when she heard Lin Feng's words. She immediately realized that something was wrong and returned to her cold self. Lin Feng was secretly delighted. Lang Wuxin used to be an unreasonable woman. Now, she was finally a little more human. It seemed like the time she spent with him wasn't in vain. Zhang Qingyuan secretly hated Lin Feng for mocking them, but he didn't show it on his face. He said, Fellow cultivator, you're making fun of us. We've discussed it carefully, and decided not to seek refuge with the Netherlord. Who doesn't have dignity when they've cultivated to our level? We'd rather die standing than live kneeling. Lin Feng said with a smile. Fellow cultivator, you're really heroic. I'm impressed. Zhang Qingyuan hurriedly cupped his fists together and said, I'm still lacking compared to you, fellow Taoist. We've already contacted a few other fellow Taoists to discuss the matter of dealing with the Netherlord. I wonder if the two of you are willing to come with us to discuss this matter? Lin Feng nodded and said, Of course. After that, Lin Feng and Lang Wuxin followed Zhang Qingyuan and the others and flew into the distance. Zhang Qingyuan and the others looked at each other. Then, they quietly led Lin Feng and Lang Wuxin to the mountain range where they had set up the ultimate killing formation beforehand. Fellow cultivators are in the mountain range. Let's go in. Zhang Qingyuan said. Please lead the way. Lin Feng said politely. You're welcome, fellow cultivator. Zhang Qingyuan said with a meaningful smile. Lin Feng and Lang Wuxin followed Zhang Qingyuan and the others into the mountain range. Asterisk boom! Asterisk waves of terrifying aura spread out from all directions. Formation runes intertwined and densely packed restrictive formations enveloped the entire mountain range. Everywhere was filled with endless killing intent. This place was densely packed with many terrifying ultimate killing formations. Zhang Qingyuan and the others quickly flew into the distance and left the ultimate killing formation. Lin Feng and Lang Wuxin were trapped in the ultimate killing formation. Chapter 1597. What's the meaning of this? Lin Feng looked indifferently at Zhang Qingyuan and the others who had already retreated from the ultimate killing formation. Ha! The Netherlord ordered us to kill you two in order to become nether demonic slaves. We had no other choice. We've already used various methods to kill everyone else. Now only the two of you are left. Once we kill you, everything will be over. As for us, we can continue to live as nether demonic slaves. Zhang Qingyuan laughed sinisterly. Lin Feng said, I thought you were cowards who were afraid of death. It's rare for you to be so tough. It turns out that you're scheming. You people are really useless. You can only play some insidious tricks behind people's backs. If I were the Lord of the Netherworld, I would definitely not use trash like you. Zhang Qingyuan said coldly. Kid, you're already at death's door, yet you still dare to boast shamelessly. You really don't know what's good for you. Do you believe that I can immediately kill you? Lin Feng scolded. A trash like you wants to kill us? What a joke. You're courting death. You're courting death. You're courting death. You're already at death's door, yet you're still so arrogant. Let's see if you can still be so arrogant later. Attack. Zhang Qingyuan couldn't help but shout coldly. Then, the 9 powerhouses split up and each of them took charge of a formation core. These divine state powerhouses had a long lifespan, so they had enough time to cultivate and study alchemy and spiritual formation techniques. Therefore, divine state powerhouses were usually alchemists and spiritual formation masters. For example, the 9 divine state powerhouses in front of them were all spiritual formation masters who were proficient in all kinds of mysterious formations. In their opinion, Lin Feng and Lang Wuxin, who were trapped in the ultimate killing formation, would definitely die this time. Boom! 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 Once the formation was activated, waves after waves of destructive energy swept across the heavens and the earth, surging out. The explosive destructive energy instantly pierced through the void and blasted toward Lin Feng and Ling Wuxing. Oh no, the formation they set up is very powerful. Ling Wuxing's expression changed. Zhang Qingyuan smiled as he said, "Your insight is much better than that, boys. That's right, the formation we've set up is the 9 Demons Reincarnation Immortal Vanquishing Formation, which was ranked 12th in the ancient era. The 9 of us are suppressing the 9 formation eyes and activating the formation. Its power is boundless, and you two won't be able to escape even if you grow wings." The formation was indeed powerful. Now that it had been activated, Ling Wuxing's expression turned solemn. He was about to make a move to defend against the formation's attack. Lin Feng grabbed Ling Wuxing's hand. "What are you doing?" Ling Wuxing blushed and glared at Lin Feng. "A mere formation can be easily broken. Follow me." Lin Feng grabbed Ling Wuxing and said. Then, he began to jump through the array. Ling Wuxing blushed. She didn't struggle and let Lin Feng grab her hand. However, Ling Wuxing's heart was not calm at all. His heart was beating wildly, and he seemed extremely nervous. His mind was blank, and he followed Lin Feng mechanically. "This boy is a bit strange. Kill him with all your might!" Zhang Qingyuan couldn't help but shout. The 9 deities frantically activated the formation to kill Lin Feng. However, their formation couldn't hurt Lin Feng at all. If one were to talk about the study of formations, was there anyone who could surpass the Sage clan? Of course not. Zhang Qingyuan and the others were all array masters and array grandmasters. However, in front of Lin Feng, they were displaying their slight skills in front of an expert. Lin Feng only had imperial marks now. It was very difficult for him to break through imperial formations. Ordinary formations were useless against him. After a short time, Lin Feng and Ling Wu Xian came out of the deployment spell. "Did they really come out?" Ling Wuxing was shocked. "What are you waiting for? Kill the 9 of them!" shouted Lin Feng. He took the lead and rushed towards a deity. Ling Wu Xian also came back to her senses. When she came back to her senses, she blushed and glanced at Lin Feng. Then, she rushed towards Zhang Qingyuan. Zhang Qingyuan was the strongest among them. He was at the 8th level of the Divine Fire Realm. Kill the leader first. Kill the horse first. Ling Wuxing naturally understood this. After killing Zhang Qingyuan, the others were nothing to worry about. "You schemed against us. You deserve to die," said Ling Wuxing coldly. She raised her right hand and attacked Zhang Qingyuan. This woman was an expert who had 1 foot in the true God realm. Zhang Qingyuan's strength was terrifying, but compared to Ling Wuxing, there was still a huge gap. Zhang Qingyuan had no choice but to fight Ling Wuxing. Bang! The two of them attacked each other. Terrifying energies collided. Zhang Qingyuan spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body was also sent flying. His face was deathly pale. He turned around and ran away, but Ling Wuxing wouldn't let him go. Ling Wuxing quickly caught up and killed Zhang Qingyuan with 3 consecutive palms. "Fellow Zhang is dead. Let's run!" When the others saw Zhang Qingyuan being killed by Ling Wuxing, they didn't dare to continue fighting. They were so scared that they turned around and ran away. However, they didn't manage to escape. Lin Feng killed 4 deities. Ling Wuxing, on the other hand, had taken care of 5 God Realm warriors, including Zhang Qingyuan. The 9 deity realm experts were all killed. "Don't waste the God's source," said Lin Feng. He sealed the God's source. Then, he took their storage rings. Ling Wuxing didn't take the God's source, but she took 5 storage rings. "We can't stay here. Let's go," said Lin Feng. Ling Wuxing nodded. She was about to leave with Lin Feng. Suddenly, black fog rolled in the distance. A hazy figure walked out from the world of black fog. "Survival of the fittest. Only the strongest cultivators can survive. Only the strongest cultivators are qualified to become my slaves. As for you two, one of you is good at deployment spells, and the other is extremely strong. I'm going to spare your lives, said Lin Feng. The Netherlord's voice was heard. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and said with a smile, Thank you, Lord Netherlord. Since you're going to spare our lives, please open the exit. The Netherlord was speechless. He said in a deep voice, Boy, are you really stupid or just pretending? When I said I'll spare your lives, I'm asking you to acknowledge me as your master and become my demonic slaves. Ling Wuxin looked indifferent. She was about to say something, but Lin Feng gave her a look to stop her. Ling Wuxin snorted softly, but she didn't disobey Lin Feng. Lin Feng said with a smile, Oh, so that's what you mean. I'm stupid. I didn't understand what you meant. The Netherlord said with a smile, It's not too late to understand now. Lin Feng despised the Netherlord in his heart. This guy was bad, but he seemed to be a little stupid. Lin Feng planned to get some information from the stupid Netherlord. He asked, What are we supposed to do for you after we become your demonic slaves? Chapter 1598. You'll enter the endless underworld and participate in the divine war, the Netherlord said. Endless underworld? Divine war? What the hell is that? Lin Feng asked. The Netherlord said, Everyone in the endless underworld is the Netherlord's devil's slave. There will be a ranking every 10 million years. The Netherlords who rank in the top 10 will not only receive various rewards, but these 10 Netherlords will also step down from their positions as Netherlords and take on other positions. Lin Feng basically understood what was going on. These Netherlords guarding the world passage were equivalent to being imprisoned. They had no freedom. They also yearned for freedom. The divine war in the endless underworld was the only way for them to obtain their freedom. Therefore, they needed to find powerful slaves. Help them participate in the divine war. Help them earn points. There's a limit to the number of people who can participate in the divine war. Zhang Qingyuan and the rest of the trash want to become my slaves. They're really overestimating themselves. The two of you already have the qualifications. Kneel down and swear to become my nether demonic slaves. The Netherlord looked at Lin Feng and Ling Wuxin with an indifferent expression. Lin Feng said, I have another question. The Netherlord said impatiently, Why do you have so many questions? Hurry up and ask. Don't wear out my patience. Lin Feng asked, What benefits will we get if we participate in the divine war? The Netherlord said eerily, The benefit is that you'll regain your freedom after 1,000,000 years. Freedom is such a precious thing. It's something that drives people crazy. Compared to freedom, nothing is worth mentioning. Let's go. Lin Feng whispered to Ling Wuxin. Be careful. Ling Wuxin hesitated for a moment before he flew away. You want to leave? How dare you resist me? You're courting death. The Netherlord shouted angrily when he saw Ling Wuxin leaving. Endless black fog swept toward Lin Feng and Ling Wuxin. Heavenly flames incinerate the heavens. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Lin Feng took out 3 types of celestial fire. Heavenly flames incinerate the heavens. Chi. Chi. The black mist that was summoned by the Netherlord began to burn. Heavenly flames, and 3 kinds of heavenly flames at that. How can someone refine so much heavenly fire? The Netherlord cried out in disbelief. He had lived for an extremely long time. He knew a lot more secrets than most people. But it was precisely because he knew so many secrets. The Netherlord finally understood how precious the heavenly fire was. The further one cultivated, the more crucial the heavenly fire would be. Especially when one became a sovereign, the heavenly fire would play a decisive role. It was just that many people didn't know this. Refining a type of heavenly flame was something that would cause smoke to rise from their ancestors' graves. Lin Feng had actually refined 3 types of heavenly flames. How could the Netherlord not be shocked? Ha ha! Netherlord, you're in spirit! It will be restrained by my heavenly fire! Lin Feng said with a laugh. The Netherlord's expression immediately turned cold as he said disdainfully. So what if you're in spirit? So what if you're restrained by the heavenly fire? Your cultivation base is too weak. It's a waste for the heavenly fire to be in your hands. Then, the Netherlord made a series of hand seals with both of his hands. Hundreds of millions of hand seals. They condensed and formed. Nether Ghost Sea! The Netherlord sneered. With a wave of his hand, a boundless sea appeared. The sea stretched as far as the eye could see. The sea was densely packed with ghosts and monsters. Een soldiers, malicious spirits, evil spirits, skeleton ghosts. All kinds of ghosts and monsters charged toward Lin Feng as their battle cries shook the sky. F***CK! Lin Feng withdrew the heavenly fire and turned around to run. The Netherlord was too powerful. Although he had mastered the heavenly fire that could restrain the Netherlord, there was still a huge gap between him and the Netherlord. Seeing Lin Feng turn around and run, the Netherlord shouted coldly. Boy, you're really a coward! Coward my ass! You're at the F***King True God stage while I'm only at the Void God stage. There's a difference of dozens of levels between me and you. Am I supposed to stay here and wait for death if I don't run? Lin Feng cursed. How dare you insult me? You're digging your own grave. You won't be able to escape. I'm going to eat you. The Netherlord quickly chased after him. One was running while the other was chasing. The Netherlord's speed was very fast, but Lin Feng was not slow either. The Netherlord chased after Lin Feng for more than 2 hours, but he still could not catch up to him. This made the Netherlord unusually depressed. He was only chasing after an ant. He actually chased after him for such a long time. It made the Netherlord feel an urge to go crazy. Boom! A terrifying aura came from afar. Ling Wuxin used his magic energy to wrap around the soul's sealing stone and rushed over. How dare you plot against me? The Netherlord finally understood everything. Ling Wuxin's early departure and Lin Feng's delaying of the battle. It was all to buy time for Ling Wuxin. It allowed Ling Wuxin to collect the soul's sealing stone to deal with him. Netherlord, let us go. We'll mind our own business. If you insist on forcing us, then we'll fight to the death, Ling Wuxin said coldly. How dare you two ants threaten me? Who do you think you are? Do you think you can defeat me just because you have the soul sealing stone? If that's the case, then you're gravely mistaken. I'm the Netherworld envoy of the underworld, an immortal existence. I'm going to eat you today. The Netherlord was infuriated. He took a step forward and slammed his palm toward Ling Wuxin. In the Netherlord's opinion, Lin Feng was nothing to be afraid of at all. After all, Lin Feng was only at the virtual god stage. The only threat was Ling Wuxin. No matter what, Ling Wuxin's cultivation base was at the half-step true god stage. Moreover, the soul-sealing stone was still in Ling Wuxin's hands. Kill! Ling Wuxin could not help but shout coldly. He activated the soul-sealing stone and slammed it toward the Netherlord. Bang! The Netherlord's attack collided with Ling Wuxin's soul-sealing stone. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The sun and moon dimmed as the ground caved in. Thump 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 thump, Ling Wuxin was pushed back. Barf! He spat out a mouthful of blood. Although the Netherlord was pushed back a few steps, it was apparent that his injuries were not serious. Insects, no matter what you do, you can't fight against me. Only death awaits you in front of me, said Lin Feng coldly. The Netherlord's voice seemed to have drifted out from hell. It was filled with endless killing intent that sent chills down one's spine. Endless demonic mist rolled around his body. The Netherlord walked toward Ling Wuxin step by step. Ling Wuxin was communicating with the soul-sealing stone. It would take some time. Lin Feng gritted his teeth and activated the 9 demons painting to attack the Netherlord. Emperor weapon! Boy, you have many treasures, but they're useless. Your cultivation base is too low. The Netherlord sneered and slammed his palm toward Lin Feng. Bang! As if he was struck by lightning, Lin Feng was sent flying several thousand meters away. The 9 demons' painting became extremely dim. His body crashed into a mountain and collapsed it. Then, he was submerged in the ruins. He remained motionless. No one knew if he was dead or alive. Chapter 1599. How dare an ant like you attack me? Consider yourself lucky that I'll kill you with a single palm strike. The Netherlord sneered and walked toward Ling Wuxin. Ling Wuxin was furious and anxious when she saw Lin Feng was sent flying a few thousand meters away by the Netherlord's palm strike. She did not know if he was still alive or not. I'll kill you! Ling Wuxin shouted angrily and controlled the soul-sealing stone to attack the Netherlord. Humph! With your cultivation base, you're still far from it. The Netherlord sneered again and again. It was obvious that he did not take Ling Wuxin seriously. He charged forward quickly and slapped 9 times in a row. Bang! 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 A series of violent collisions echoed in the air. Both of them fought fiercely. The Netherlord was indeed powerful, even though the soul-sealing stone had a strong suppressive effect on him. It could even hurt him. However, with his powerful strength, the Netherlord still managed to gain a huge advantage in the collisions. Ling Wuxin was sent flying again. I'm willing to use my life force to strengthen the soul-sealing stone. Ling Wuxin began to burn her life force crazily. She knew that this battle had reached a critical moment. The Netherlord was too powerful. It was too difficult to defeat him. She could only fight with her life on the line. Otherwise, death would be the only way out for her. As Ling Wuxin burned a large amount of her life force, waves of powerful life origin energy surged out and was poured into the soul-sealing stone by Ling Wuxin. The soul-sealing stone's power increased tremendously after receiving the support of this energy. Ling Wuxin was fighting with her life force. She did not stop burning her life force. Instead, the burning of her life force became more and more intense. She controlled the soul-sealing stone and charged toward the Netherlord again. Under the support of the energy from burning her life force, a shocking scene appeared. The runes on the soul-sealing stone were flashing. One after another, the runes emitted extremely terrifying ripples. The soul-sealing stone's runes were awakened. The Netherlord's expression changed abruptly. This crazy woman! She's fighting without any regard for her life. How many years of her life force did she burn to awaken the soul-sealing stone's runes? The Netherlord's expression was extremely gloomy. He did not want to go head-on against the soul-sealing stone. After the runes of the Forbidden Soul Stone were awakened, their power would increase crazily. The soul-sealing stone was no longer the same as before. It was far from being comparable to the previous soul-sealing stone. The Netherlord wanted to evade the soul-sealing stone's attack, but Ling Wuxin did not give him the opportunity to do so. Ling Wuxin was also an experienced fighter. Naturally, she knew that it was the best opportunity to kill the Netherlord during the period when the soul-sealing stone's runes appeared. If the runes on the Forbidden Soul Stone disappeared, at that time, all hope would be lost. Boom! The soul-suppressing stone fell from the sky and suppressed the Netherlord. When the Netherlord saw that he could not avoid it, he condensed the Lord of Hell. Lord of Hell! The Sovereign of Hell! The Lord of Hell was about 100 meters tall, and it let out a series of roars. The Lord of Hell's body emitted a monstrous aura. The Lord of Hell glanced around. The void seemed to be on the verge of collapsing. Hell was the core of the underworld. It was said that the legendary River of Forgetfulness, the Bridge of Helplessness, the Hall of Hell, and even the 6 paths of reincarnation were all in Hell. In the myths and legends, Hell was divided into 18 levels. It was natural. There were 18 Lords of Hell. Each of the 18 Lords of Hell controlled a level of Hell. No one knew which Lord of Hell's silhouette the Netherlord had summoned. This silhouette was ancient, weathered, powerful, and immortal. It made one unable to even think of fighting against it. Bang! 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 The Lord of Hell's silhouette collided with the soul-sealing stone again and again. Both of them collided for a total of 365 rounds. Ling Wuxin suffered a backlash from the soul-sealing stone. She spat out mouthfuls of blood, and her face was pale. However, the illusory figure of the Lord of Hell was beginning to dim and lose its luster. Origin core ignition! Women were much more ruthless than men when they were ruthless. For example, Lin Wuxin began to burn her divine origin to activate the soul-sealing stone. Her origin core was injured. It was a fatal blow to a cultivator. To a cultivator, burning their divine origin would cause them to suffer from qi deviation if they were not careful. They would die a horrible death. Moreover, after burning their divine origin, their body would fall into a weak state for a long time. Moreover, even if they were lucky enough to survive. However, in the future, their cultivation base might not be able to improve for the rest of their lives. After burning the divine origin, the soul-sealing stone's power increased greatly. The runes that were about to disappear became dazzling again. The soul-sealing stone shattered the Lord of Hell's silhouette into pieces. Then, the soul-sealing stone charged toward the Netherlord. Clang! 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 The soul-sealing stone bombarded the Netherlord's body again and again. The runes emitted waves of terrifying energy that surged into the Netherlord's body. Ah! The Netherlord let out a shrill scream. His body was cracking open. The Netherlord's aura became weaker and weaker. Obviously, the soul-sealing stone caused severe damage to the Netherlord. You crazy woman, die for me! The Netherlord roared in exasperation. He could not even remember when was the last time he was hurt like this. The Netherlord went all out. His body was enveloped by a ball of flame. The Netherlord was burning his divine origin. The Netherlord's combat strength had increased tremendously. He struck out 3 palm strikes consecutively. The soul-sealing stone was sent flying. Then, the Netherlord arrived in front of Lin Wuxin. His palm struck Lin Wuxin's body hard. Crack! Crack! Lin Wuxin was sent flying. Nobody knew how many of his bones were broken. His body fell to the ground uncontrollably. He coughed out blood in midair and fell to the ground. He could not move at all. I'll take your life! The Netherlord walked toward Lin Wuxin step by step like the Grim Reaper from hell. Lin Wuxin's face was pale. His face was filled with despair. Before he died, Lin Feng's figure appeared in his mind. For a moment, he felt like he was going to hell with Lin Feng. He did not have any regrets even if he died. The Netherlord raised his right hand and was about to strike Lin Wuxin. Bang! In the distance, rubble pierced the sky. Lin Feng stepped forward. Boy, you're still alive. You're really lucky. The Netherlord looked at Lin Feng coldly. Lin Feng walked toward the Netherlord step by step. Netherlord, let's fight to the death. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. How dare an ant like you say you're going to fight to the death with me? Are you worthy? The Netherlord said disdainfully. He raised his right hand and struck toward Lin Feng. He wanted to kill Lin Feng with a single palm strike. Boom! At the same time, the sovereign blood in Lin Feng's body began to circulate wildly. Purple domineering aura seeped out of his body. Heaven and earth seemed to have frozen at that moment. It was as if everything was still. The gigantic energy hand condensed by the Netherlord was swept by the domineering aura from Lin Feng's body and instantly shattered. Chapter 1600. Domineering! You actually possess domineering aura. It's purple domineering aura. This is the most powerful supreme domineering aura among the 9 types of domineering aura. The Netherlord's face was filled with shock when he saw the domineering aura emanating from Lin Feng's body. Domineering aura was extremely rare. It was already good enough for one cultivator to possess domineering aura among hundreds of millions of cultivators. What more supreme domineering aura? Since ancient times, there was not much supreme domineering aura. People who possessed the supreme being aura were as rare as phoenix feathers and qilin horns. Now, he had witnessed the legendary supreme domineering aura. How could the Netherlord not be shocked? He broke through to the godly realm at such a young age. It's impossible for him to comprehend domineering aura with his cultivation base at such a young age. Unless he's a possessor of innate domineering aura. What kind of clan is he from? He actually possesses innate domineering aura? Moreover, the innate domineering aura he possesses is the legendary supreme domineering aura. Countless thoughts flashed through the Netherlord's mind. The more he thought about it, the more shocked he was. However, the Netherlord's eyes were filled with endless killing intent soon after. Since he had already offended Lin Feng, he might as well kill him directly. This was the best way to get rid of him once and for all. What if he let the tiger return to the mountain and seek revenge in the future? The Netherlord's heart was filled with killing intent when he thought of this. He immediately soared into the sky and charged toward Lin Feng. Possessor of supreme domineering aura! Leng Wuxin supported her body with difficulty. She looked at Lin Feng in shock. Her second sister, Leng Wushuang, was powerful. During the ancient times, she was almost invincible and was famous in hundreds of millions of star regions. The reason was that Leng Wushuang was also a possessor of domineering aura. However, the domineering aura that Leng Wushuang possessed was transparent. 9 types of domineering aura. Transparent, white, red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and purple domineering aura. The weakest domineering aura was transparent aura. However, she had only mastered the transparent aura. During the ancient times, Leng Wushuang had also relied on the transparent aura to repeatedly defeat the strong. Challenging those who were stronger than her was a piece of cake for her. Those who had not mastered the domineering aura, they would never know how terrifying it was. Once the domineering aura was truly activated, it would not only be oppressive aura. The user's combat strength would be enhanced. It would be enhanced. The transparent Haki was worlds apart from Lin Feng's supreme purple Haki. Such a powerful domineering aura, one has to be at least at the heavenly deity realm to be able to use it freely, right? Now that he's activated the purple chi in his body, he'll definitely pay a huge price. Leng Wuxin couldn't help but worry about Lin Feng. She didn't even know why she cared about Lin Feng. Leng Wuxin found an excuse for himself. He was concerned about Lin Feng. Because Lin Feng had won, the two of them could survive. If Lin Feng was defeated, the two of them would die. Boy, taste my hell cycle slash. The Netherlord let out a ferocious laugh. He gathered his supreme superpower and charged toward Lin Feng. That terrifying attack seemed to be able to destroy the heavens and the earth. It tore apart the heavens and shattered the universe. A single strike landed, slaying gods and vanquishing demons. Lin Feng's eyes seemed to have lost focus. The supreme purple domineering aura lingered around his body. Every step seemed to be so difficult. He took a step forward with great difficulty. Every time Lin Feng took a step forward, the domineering aura in his body would become more powerful. Bang! The Netherlord's attack blasted toward him. Once again, it collided with the supreme purple domineering aura that was emitted from Lin Feng's body. A terrifying scene appeared. The supreme purple domineering aura instantly shattered the Netherlord's attack. Lin Feng took a step forward. The domineering aura overflowed and swept toward the Netherlord's body. It directly sent the Netherlord flying. Barf! The Netherlord spat out a mouthful of blood. As powerful as he was, he was also severely injured. As expected of the supreme purple domineering aura. It's really powerful. Boy, taste my Nether Ghost Sea. The Netherlord roared. He gathered the Nether Ghost Sea to deal with Lin Feng. He had used this attack before. However, when Lin Feng saw the Netherlord using the Nether Ghost Sea, he didn't fight the Netherlord at all. Instead, he turned around and ran away. Now, the Netherlord unleashed the Nether Sea receding technique again. Een Soldier! Ghost General! Evil Spirit! Hostile Spirit! Skeleton Ghost! An army of thousands! All kinds of ghosts and monsters charged toward Lin Feng. The void was crushed by the army. Eat that boy. I want to drink that boy's blood. I want his soul. Become one of us, said Lin Feng. The densely packed ghosts and monsters laughed ferociously. They instantly charged toward him. However, when those ghosts and monsters collided with Lin Feng's supreme purple domineering aura, hundreds of millions of ghosts and monsters, they were reduced to ashes. The supreme purple domineering aura was really too powerful. Any attack that came into contact with the supreme purple domineering aura would only be destroyed. Eat my fist. Lin Feng took a step forward and swung his right fist toward the Netherlord. Bang! This attack landed directly on the Netherlord's body and blasted him away. Crack! Crack! The Netherlord's body began to crack. The Netherlord was so furious that he was about to go mad. He roared furiously. If it wasn't for the fact that I've injured my origin, I would only have 30% of my combat strength left now. What can you do to me even if you have the supreme purple aura? I can still kill you with ease. What's the point of saying all these useless things? Even if you were an overlord before, what's the use of losing the combat strength of an overlord now? Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He charged forward and threw another punch at the Netherlord. The supreme purple domineering aura lingered on Lin Feng's fist. The supreme purple domineering aura accompanied Lin Feng's punch and blasted into the Netherlord's body. Bang! The Netherlord's body immediately exploded. I can't believe I was hurt by an ant like you. I'm an immortal existence. You can't kill me! The Netherlord's body reassembled. His face was filled with a ferocious expression. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. I'll destroy your origin first and push your cultivation base below the divine realm. I'll have my ways to kill you then. What a joke! How long can your supreme purple domineering aura last? You haven't destroyed my origin yet, but your body can no longer support the circulation of the supreme purple domineering aura. Let's see who dies first. The Netherlord's eyes were filled with coldness. Then let's see who dies first. Lin Feng's killing intent soared to the sky. At this moment, Lin Feng could not back down. Whoever backed down first and revealed a flaw would definitely be the defeated party. In fact, Lin Feng was already at his limit. Ling Wuxing seemed to have sensed that Lin Feng's body was not in a good condition. She shouted, "It's not good for either of us to suffer. Netherlord, let us go and we'll end today's matter here. What do you think? What do you say?" The Netherlord looked at Lin Feng with a gloomy expression. Although he could not wait to cut Lin Feng into 1,000 pieces, it was just as Ling Wuxing had said. The Netherlord did not want to fight until both of them suffered. "I agree to this suggestion," Lin Feng said. The Netherlord glanced at Lin Feng with a gloomy expression. With a wave of his right hand, a distorted vortex appeared. Lin Feng grabbed Ling Wuxing and rushed into the vortex. Swoosh! With a flash of light, he and Ling Wuxing left the Netherworld cave. Then, both of them fell into the mountain forest. Lin Feng was lying on the ground. He could barely move. An unprecedented sense of weakness swept through his body, causing him to pass out instantly. Chapter 1601. After Lin Feng broke through to the Nihility God realm, he had no problem using his qi. However, it was too difficult for him to use his purple qi. The Heavenly God realm was a threshold. It was the threshold to not suffer a backlash when using the purple qi. Lin Feng suffered a backlash and fell into a weakened state. The purple qi was not something that could be used casually. Once Lin Feng used his purple qi, if he didn't manage to kill his opponent, he would be attacked by his purple qi. Even a small cultivator could kill Lin Feng. Moreover, many people liked to kill geniuses who had yet to mature. They would steal their treasures, abilities, and wealth. They would steal their luck. If the fact that Lin Feng had the purple qi was exposed, extraterrestrial beings, heavenly demons, all the major forces in the Jiuzhou continent, countless people wanted to kill Lin Feng. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Feng slowly woke up. He opened his eyes and found himself in a cave. Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. He realized that his body had been imprisoned. He did not need to think to know who did it. It was definitely that crazy woman, Lin Wuxing. "Have you thought about how you want to die?" Lin Wuxing, who was standing at the entrance of the cave, saw Lin Feng wake up and walked over. She held a dagger and pressed it against Lin Feng's neck. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. "No way? Beauty! You're killing the donkey after it has left the millstone. That's that. The matter in the Netherworld cave has been settled. Now, it's between you and me. Ling Wuxin looked extremely cold. Lin Feng wailed in his heart. He was in trouble now. What good would come of falling into the hands of that crazy woman? Beauty, please don't kill me. I'll do anything for you, Lin Feng said as he tried to break the restriction on his body. Ling Wuxin sneered. You really are a coward. I haven't even made a move yet, and you're already so scared. Lin Feng replied. Whether or not I'm afraid of death depends on the situation and who I'm facing. I'd rather die than submit when I'm facing trash like the Netherlord. Naturally, I'd beg for mercy when I'm facing you. It's not a shameful thing to beg for mercy from a beautiful woman. As expected of a bastard who hangs out with that bastard Yuan Beixian. He's obviously not a good person. Ling Wuxin glared at Lin Feng. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Beauty, even if Yuan Beixian and I are friends, I really don't know how he offended your palace of cold blood. I don't have any grudges with your palace of cold blood, right? Ling Wuxin said coldly. So what if I'm implicated? The palace of cold blood does not need to explain anything to you. Lin Feng was speechless. He said, Even if you want me to die, you should at least let me know how I died, right? What kind of grudge does Yuan Beixian have with your palace of cold blood for you to hate him so much? Can you tell me? Ling Wuxin fell silent for a moment, then said, Yuan Beixian isn't human. He deceived my eldest sister's feelings and caused her to commit suicide. That? Lin Feng was at a loss for words. The most difficult thing to deal with in the world was the relationship between a man and a woman. However, Lin Feng felt that Yuan Beixian was a very heroic and straightforward person. Someone with such a character. He didn't seem like someone who would toy with a woman's feelings. Was there a hidden story behind this? Lin Feng asked. Did you see your eldest sister commit suicide with your own eyes? I was only 3 years old when she died, so of course I didn't see it with my own eyes. However, this is what my second sister said, so it can't be false. Ling Wuxin said coldly. Lin Feng had already met Ling Wuxin's second sister, Ling Wuxuan, before. She was a demoness who killed without batting an eyelid. He seemed to be very scheming. Lin Feng said calmly. Sometimes, you can't easily determine whether something is true or false if you don't see it with your own eyes. Sometimes, even if you see it with your own eyes, it might not be the truth. Are you saying that my second sister lied to me? If you dare to sow discord between my second sister and me, I'll gouge out your eyes and cut off your tongue right now. Ling Wuxin glared at Lin Feng fiercely. Lin Feng shouted, I'm innocent. I didn't mean that. You were the one who said it, so what does it have to do with me? Ling Wuxin snorted. You were the one who said it. As expected, men aren't good people. Lin Feng was speechless. This woman was too extreme. Eh? I'm about to break through this crazy woman's restrictions. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. When Lin Feng didn't say anything, Ling Wuxin said coldly, Why aren't you saying anything? Are you up to no good again? Lin Feng hurriedly said, I'm already in your hands, so I wouldn't dare to do anything bad. Why don't we make a deal? What deal? Ling Wuxin asked. Let me go. As long as it is within my capabilities, I will agree to any conditions you raise. What do you think? Lin Feng said. Ling Wuxin said coldly, Why don't I just kill you and take your treasures? Crack. At that moment, Ling Wuxin's restrictions were broken through by Lin Feng. Lin Feng raised his hand as fast as lightning and tapped Ling Wuxin's left chest. Immediately, a powerful force dispersed Ling Wuxin's magic power. Bastard! Bastard! How dare you plot against me? Ling Wuxin screamed and stabbed her dagger at Lin Feng. Lin Feng snatched the dagger from Ling Wuxin's hand and threw it away. You people from the Palace of Cold Blood are all lunatics and cold-blooded animals. Especially you. Young master saved your life, but not only did you not thank me, you even attacked me? Do you think I have a good temper? Lin Feng pressed Ling Wuxin under his body. He then pressed her hands down, making it hard for her to move. It was a position that would make one's heart beat faster. After being captured by Lin Feng, Leng Wuxin panicked. In particular, his current posture was truly unsightly. Let me go, and we'll forget our grudges. From now on, you go your way, and I'll go mine. What do you think? Leng Wuxin said. Tsk. Do you think that's possible? Lin Feng harumphed. Could it be that you want to kill me? Think carefully. My sister is a peak heavenly god. If you kill me, no one can save you, Leng Wuxin said coldly. How could I bear to kill you? Do you remember what happened that night? Lin Feng said with a smile. Thinking about what happened that night, Leng Wuxin's face flushed red. You and I were in a daze that night. We don't remember what happened. But today, we're both very clear-headed. Looking at the beautiful scenery outside, why don't we do something special? Lin Feng said with a smile. Bastard, let me go! Leng Wuxin's face turned pale. There was panic and fear. However, Leng Wuxin realized that she was actually looking forward to it. She realized that she couldn't face her own thoughts. Her heart was in a mess. Chapter 1602. During this time, there had been more than one battle in the Northern Sea. Leng Wuxuang had killed many deities from the Outer Realm, 9 provinces, and sky demons. This had enraged the factions behind the cultivators who had been killed, and they had sent experts to retaliate. However, all the experts who had gone to deal with Leng Wuxuang had died tragically. It was only then that the Outer Realm, 9 provinces cultivators, and sky demons realized that there was such a terrifying existence in the northern lands of the Tianwu continent. Many people were talking about Palace Master Merciless Massacre. It had all started because the Outer Realm, sky demons, and 9 provinces cultivators had killed the cultivators of the Palace of Cold Blood to steal the Dao Source Stone. Leng Wuxuang's power had shaken them to their core. Even the Outer Realm, sky demons, and 9 provinces cultivators didn't dare to provoke Palace Master Merciless. Leng Wuxin returned to the Palace of Cold Blood. Grand Elder, you're back. The Palace Master wants to see you, said an elder when he saw Leng Wuxin. Leng Wuxin nodded. I'll go see the Palace Master now. She headed straight for the Shrine of Cold Blood. When she arrived outside, Leng Wuxin called out, Elder sister, I'm here. All right, come in. Leng Wuxuang's voice rang out. Leng Wuxin entered the shrine. Elder sister, did you kill that bastard Yuan Beixian? Asked Leng Wuxin. Leng Wuxuang's back was facing Leng Wuxin as she looked at a painting of a dragon flying into the sky. She was silent for a moment before saying, Killing him is easier said than done. Oh. Leng Wuxin didn't say anything else. Leng Wuxuang turned around. She looked at Leng Wuxin, about to say something. Suddenly, Leng Wuxuang's eyes turned extremely cold. She rushed to Leng Wuxin's side and said coldly, What's going on? You lost your virginity to a man? Leng Wuxin lowered her head and said, I've already taken care of this matter. You've taken care of it? You're lying. Tell me, who was it? Who was that man? Leng Wuxuang's body emitted boundless killing intent. I've already killed him, Leng Wuxin said. For a man, you actually deceived your own sister. Leng Wuxuang glared at Leng Wuxin. Leng Wuxin bit his lips and didn't answer. Good. Very good. How dare you protect him like this? You threw Leng Wuxin into the frigid ice dungeon to wake her up until she speaks. Leng Wuxuang screamed angrily. Yes, Palace Lord. Within the void, a bright light flashed. An old woman who looked like a malicious spirit appeared. Third Miss, I'm sorry. The old woman let out a sinister laugh as she gently swiped her shriveled right hand through the air. She lost suddenly, the void was torn apart, and a hazy cage appeared. That was the ice prison. Leng Wuxin was thrown into the ice dungeon. Lin Feng quietly returned to the country of desire. He began to prepare for the 10-year life-and-death duel with Huang Fuqintian. This battle could be said to be a highly anticipated battle. Huang Fuqintian was Panga's successor. Lin Feng, on the other hand, was like a dazzling star. In just 10 years, he had rapidly risen to become an existence that no one dared to ignore. This life and death duel could be said to be a duel between the two strongest geniuses of the younger generation in the Tianwu continent. Huang Fuqitian came out of seclusion. He came to the Ragnarok Arena in the center of the Zhongzhou continent. It was rumored. The Ragnarok Arena was built in the ancient times. It was also a place where godly realm experts settled their grudges and had a life and death duel. Lin Feng, I'll wait for you in the Ragnarok Arena. It's been 10 years. I've allowed you to live for 10 more years. This time, I'll personally take your head. Huang Fuqitian stood in the Ragnarok Arena like a great emperor, looking around. He had the bearing of an emperor. No one dared to underestimate Huang Fuqitian. Even the successors of the most powerful clans in the Jiuzhou continent didn't dare to underestimate Huang Fuqitian. If Lin Feng hadn't destroyed Huang Fuqitian's inheritance of the Yuanshu Tianzun, no one knew how powerful Huang Fuqitian was now. Soon, the news that Huang Fuqitian stood in the Ragnarok Arena and provoked Lin Feng quickly spread throughout the Tianwu continent. Countless people were talking about this matter. Whether it was the forces of the Tianwu continent, or the extraterrestrial creatures, heavenly demons, the forces of the Jiuzhou continent, this life and death duel attracted a lot of attention. The Tianwu continent is a barren place, but it actually produced two heaven-defying geniuses. Now that these two geniuses are going to fight to the death, it saves us a lot of trouble. Gather the experts and go to the Zhongzhou continent. No matter what the final result is, we must kill them. Such geniuses can't be allowed to live in this world. Top experts of the Jiuzhou continent, extraterrestrial creatures, and heavenly demons all rushed to the Zhongzhou continent to kill Lin Feng and Huang Fuqitian. The ancient starship Xianyuan took off from the country of desire and went to the Zhongzhou continent. This time, Shangguan Fair and the others didn't go. They didn't dare to watch the battle. They were afraid that Lin Feng would be killed. They stayed in the country of desire and waited for news. Lin Feng brought Du Zhu, the giant astral beast, the rock demon, and the others. The Zhongzhou continent was very lively because of the battle between Lin Feng and Huang Fuqitian. Finally, the day came. The ancient starship Xianyuan tore through the void and arrived at the center of the Zhongzhou continent, where the Ragnarok Arena was. Lin Feng walked down from the ancient starship Xianyuan. Lin Feng is here! Someone shouted. Countless cultivators looked at Lin Feng in unison. Many people were excited. The peak battle was finally about to begin. You're here! On the Ragnarok Arena, Huang Fuqitian, who was sitting cross-legged, opened his eyes. He stood up, looked at Lin Feng and opened his eyes. It was as if there were two small worlds floating. I'm here! Lin Feng walked toward the Ragnarok Arena. Finally, he landed on the Ragnarok Arena. Buzz! The Ragnarok Arena formed a huge energy shield. This is the Death Shield. It won't dissipate unless one of them is killed. Lin Feng and Huang Fuqitian must fight to the death. A cultivator said aloud. This shocked many people. They didn't expect there to be such a request. It seemed that one of them was going to die in this battle. I didn't expect that a little ant from 10 years ago would grow to this level. 10 years ago? You're just an ant in my eyes. 10 years later, you'll still be an ant. Even if I don't have the legacy of Yuan Shutianzuan, killing you will still be as easy as stepping on an ant. Huang Fuqitian looked at Lin Feng contemptuously. His words were full of disdain for Lin Feng. Chapter 1603. Huang Fuqitian is too arrogant, isn't he? He doesn't take Lin Feng seriously at all. Right, no matter what, Lin Feng is an overlord. Huang Fuqitian looks down on him. Isn't he a bit too arrogant? Huang Fuqitian has completely digested the orthodoxy of the secret realm of heaven. His cultivation is unfathomable. It's not unreasonable for him to look down on Lin Feng. Lin Feng has many tricks up his sleeve. I just don't know what will happen in the end, sighed Lin Feng. As far as the eye could see, there were hundreds of thousands of cultivators gathered around the arena of the gods. Now many people were talking about it. Lin Feng wasn't angered by Huang Fuqingtian's words. He said indifferently, "We'll know who will win after the battle." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng leaped out and turned into an 8 trigrams diagram. He tore through the void and slashed at Huang Fuqingtian. This was the inheritance of the Celestial Master Sect. The 8 trigrams diagram. It could suppress everything. It could kill gods and demons. "It's starting!" many people exclaimed. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly as they stared at the battle in the gods' arena. They didn't want to miss a single detail. "You don't know what's good for you. Today, I'll show you how powerful and terrifying the Tao of Pangu is. The Tao of Pangu is nothing compared to the Tao of Pangu that I've cultivated." Huang Fuqingtian sneered and walked toward Lin Feng. "Pangu's heaven-splitting technique!" he roared and raised his right hand. Across the void, he slashed out. It was as if the world was being split apart. A beam of axe light condensed. It fell from the sky and slashed at Lin Feng. That axe light looked like the one Pangu threw out with the axe of Genesis when he created the world. It was powerful and mysterious. It was unstoppable. Many of the cultivators who were relatively close to the battle ring of gods, after they felt the aura of the axe light, their faces turned as pale as a sheet of paper. They simply could not withstand the pressure of the axe light. "Is this a divine ability passed down by Pangu? How terrifying! Retreat quickly!" Many cultivators cried out in horror, not daring to get close to the gods' battle ring. A large number of cultivators retreated to watch the battle from afar. Only deity realm cultivators could withstand the terrifying aura emitted by the axe light. "This Huang Fuqingtian is really amazing. His Pangu Genesis art must have reached perfection. Reaching perfection for a technique of this level is as difficult as ascending to the heavens. However, he's only been cultivating for a few years now. This shows just how monstrous he is. That's why Pangu took the initiative to choose Huang Fuqingtian back then. It's said that Huang Fuqingtian's bloodline is very mysterious. Some people even say that he has 2 different bloodlines, and his abilities are heaven-defying." Some deity realm experts were discussing in low voices. On the gods' arena, the axe light condensed by Huang Fuqingtian bombarded the 8 trigrams diagram formed by Lin Feng. Bang! The attack was so powerful that Lin Feng felt a terrifying force surge into his body. He was beaten back to his original form. His body was swept away. His face was slightly pale. "No way! He suppressed Lin Feng with the first attack?" many people exclaimed. Obviously, this scene was out of his expectations. Originally, most people thought that this battle would be evenly matched. However, the situation seemed to be different from what they'd imagined. Huang Fuqingtian's strength was far greater than what they'd expected. His magic power far exceeds mine. Lin Feng's expression was gloomy. Lin Feng's magic power could contend with many divine fire realm cultivators. However, Huang Fuqingtian was also a genius. His magic power was also very strong. When he was in the void spirit realm, his magic power could also contend with many divine fire realm cultivators. Now, he'd broken through to the divine fire realm. His magic power completely suppressed Lin Feng. "Is this all you've got? Just now, I only used 30% of my strength to force you back. You've really disappointed me. I thought you'd be my opponent, and I'd be able to fight you without holding back. I hadn't thought that you'd be so weak." Huang Fuqingtian looked down at Lin Feng from above. He didn't take Lin Feng seriously at all. His words were filled with contempt and disdain for Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked indifferent. He activated the Archean Dragonesque Elephant Art. He activated the second stage of the Archean Dragonesque Elephant Art. Dragonesque Elephant Saint Power. Between heaven and earth. Streams of Dragonesque Elephant Saint Power. They fell from the sky. They surged into Lin Feng's body. With the help of Dragonesque Elephant Saint Power, Lin Feng's magic power began to increase crazily. It only stopped when his magic power had increased by 3 times. "Hey, you've used a secret technique to increase your magic power. But do you think you can fight me like this?" Huang Fuqingtian smiled contemptuously as he walked toward Lin Feng step by step. Emperor technique. Seal of life and death. Lin Feng didn't say anything. Instead, he condensed a new attack. The word Dao was born. The word Dao was dead. They gathered together. It turned into the immortal seal of life and death. The seal of life and death slashed toward Huang Fuqingtian. This is an emperor technique. It's a supreme technique created by a great emperor in his lifetime. Many godly realm experts exclaimed. Every monarch art was incredibly precious. Its lethality was shocking, surpassing the Archean super technique and many of the 3,000 great Daos. Among the 3,000 great Daos, only a few of them were comparable to emperor techniques. Lin Feng's seal of life and death shocked many people. They could feel the terror of the seal of life and death. Emperor technique! It's not enough! Huang Fuqingtian looked indifferent as he sneered. Pangu is a great existence who created the world. A great emperor is nothing in front of Pangu. Even emperor techniques can't compare to Pangu's inheritance. Pangu Genesis technique. Huang Fuqingtian let out a long howl. He was still using the Pangu Genesis technique. A beam of axe light condensed and formed. The axe light blasted toward Lin Feng's seal of life and death. Bang! The two sides collided again. Lin Feng's seal of life and death was torn apart by the axe light. The Pangu heaven-splitting art was simply too heaven-defying. It was as if Pangu was really creating the world. No matter what it encountered, whether it was a treasure or a super technique, it would be split in half by the axe light. Alright, I don't have much time to fight with trash like you. Give me your life, said Huang Fuqingtian, looking at Lin Feng disdainfully. He looked like a god looking at a tiny little insect. He took a step forward and instantly arrived in front of Lin Feng. Then he raised his right hand. He slapped toward Lin Feng's head. Huang Fuqingtian wanted to kill Lin Feng with one slap. Chapter 1604. Huang Fuqingtian's arrogance seemed to come from his bones. But no matter how arrogant Huang Fuqingtian was, he did have the right to be arrogant. Because he was too powerful. Seeing Huang Fuqingtian's palm strike toward Lin Feng, many people's faces changed. Was this battle going to end like this? Some people felt sorry for Lin Feng, some gloated, some couldn't bear it, and some sneered. There were all kinds of expressions. Obviously, in many people's eyes, Lin Feng couldn't avoid Huang Fuqingtian's attack. Boom! That terrifying attack came crashing down. Originally, everyone thought that Lin Feng would die under Huang Fuqingtian's attack. But what shocked everyone was that after Huang Fuqingtian's palm hit Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng's body? Then it disappeared. Residual shadow! Many people gasped in shock. Whoosh! Lin Feng quietly appeared behind Huang Fuqingtian and threw a punch at him. Now he had broken through to the divine realm. Lin Feng practiced void travel. He could teleport, leave the place, and appear in another place. This was fulgurating shadow. A moment before, Lin Feng had used the fulgurating shadows technique. He avoided Huang Fuqingtian's attack. Then, he appeared behind Huang Fuqingtian and began to attack him. Huang Fuqingtian felt the aura behind him and threw a palm strike. Bang! The two sides collided. After all, Huang Fuqingtian acted hastily and was directly swept away by Lin Feng. His perlicue split open. Blood immediately flowed out. Huang Fuqingtian is injured. I knew it. Lin Feng is definitely not easy to deal with. It seems that Huang Fuqingtian is really arrogant. Many people were talking excitedly. Although the battle had just begun, it was extremely exciting. Many people felt that this trip was not in vain. You hurt me. Huang Fuqingtian looked gloomy. For him, this kind of injury was nothing to him. However, what Huang Fuqingtian really cared about was his reputation. Before, he had looked down on Lin Feng, he had made fun of him. Right now, he was actually injured by Lin Feng. Those words of ridicule and contempt towards Lin Feng were like a slap to his own face. You're just SOSO, Lin Feng said indifferently. Huang Fuqingtian's eyebrows twitched violently as killing intent flickered in his eyes. You've finally shown some decent strength. Killing you now won't dirty my hands, said Lin Feng, smiling coldly. Huang Fuqingtian's eyes flickered with cold light. He quickly formed a series of hand seals. Behind him, the chaos chi began to churn. In the chaos, vaguely, a tall figure appeared. That existence was ancient and vicissitudes of life. He was holding a giant axe in his hand. That giant axe was naturally not a real axe. It was also condensed from a divine ability. What's that? Many people were shocked when they saw the ancient existence that appeared behind Huang Fuqingtian. They could feel a power that could destroy the sky from the ancient existence's body. That being was like a sentient life form that had been in a deep slumber for countless years, and had just awoken. Huang Fuqingtian looked indifferently at Lin Feng and sneered. This is the ultimate Panga heaven-splitting technique. It condenses Panga's original spirit, and holds a giant axe to split the world. Let's see how you're going to block this attack. Panga's original spirit leaped out with the giant axe and chopped at Lin Feng. It was as if the scene of Panga's creation was recreated. Lin Feng suddenly felt that he couldn't avoid this attack. This showed how powerful this divine ability was. What a great ultimate Panga heaven-splitting technique! Lin Feng looked indifferent. In the face of such a powerful attack, he didn't flinch. The attack of Panga's original spirit with the giant axe had completely locked onto his aura. No matter how he dodged, he would be hit by the axe. Lin Feng was well aware of that. Therefore, not only did he not retreat, but he also took the initiative to attack. Burning wrath of the heavens! Shouted Lin Feng. 3 types of heavenly fire appeared in front of him. He compressed the 3 types of heavenly fire into a ball of flame. Then, Lin Feng took out the ball of flame. Boom! The ball of flame exploded. Destructive energy. It drowned the entire God's arena. Everyone was staring at the situation on the God's arena. The energy of the explosion hadn't dissipated yet. Therefore, they didn't know what was going on the God's arena. Finally, the energy on the God's arena dissipated. Panga's original spirit had disappeared without a trace. Lin Feng and Huang Fuqingtian were 100 meters apart, looking at each other from afar. It seems that your Panga heaven-splitting technique isn't that good. It can't hurt me, Lin Feng sneered. Huang Fuqingtian said indifferently. What? Are you so happy to be able to resist my Panga heaven-splitting technique? The Panga heaven-splitting technique is just one of my many divine abilities. I don't know how many divine abilities I have mastered are more powerful than the Panga heaven-splitting technique. The divine abilities I have mastered are not something you can imagine. Is that so? I'd like to have a taste of those divine abilities you have mastered. Lin Feng sneered. Huang Fuqingtian raised his eyelids and said, Since you can't wait to die, I'll fulfill your wish and let you know the power of my supreme divine ability. Many people looked at each other in dismay. Huang Fuqingtian hadn't shown his true strength in such an intense battle just now. If that was the case, then how terrifying was Huang Fuqingtian? Many people thought of Huang Fuqingtian's strength. They all revealed a deep look of astonishment. Huang Fuqingtian moved. He walked towards Lin Feng step by step. His eyes opened and closed. It was as if 2 mysterious and ancient worlds were floating in the air. Pangu! He is the leader of the immortals, the Primeval. Who dares to disobey his orders? This divine ability of mine is called the Kingdom of Immortals. It's a place that the immortals fear. It's the place where Pangu the Immortal ruled the heavens. The immortals are eternal here. Come out, Kingdom of Immortals. Suppress the lowly creature who dares to blaspheme the majesty of the immortals. Asterisk rumble. Asterisk as Huang Fuqingtian's voice fell, a loud rumble shook the heavens. Endless immortal light surged. An ancient kingdom was faintly discernible. When the kingdom appeared, countless people couldn't control their bodies and knelt on the ground. Many gods were the same. They couldn't resist the pressure emitted by the Kingdom of Immortals, So they knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the kingdom of immortals. It was the kingdom of immortals. A mysterious and ancient kingdom. It was Pangu the Immortal. A supreme kingdom of immortals established by him. Chapter 1605. Huangfu Qingtian's kingdom of immortals was so powerful that it made Lin Feng feel uneasy. The kingdom of immortals. They could only look up and worship it. They couldn't fight against it. Fighting against the kingdom of immortals was blasphemy against the immortals. This was the will contained in the kingdom of immortals. This will was too strong, which was why so many people were kneeling on the ground and kowtowing to the kingdom of immortals. And the person the kingdom of immortals was targeting was Lin Feng. One could imagine how much pressure Lin Feng was under now. Kingdom of immortals! Kingdom of immortals! It's worthy of being the lost art passed down by Pangu. Powerful, really powerful! Feeling the terror of the kingdom of immortals, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. However, he didn't have any fear. Lin Feng stepped up, and a long river of death swept through the world. No one can be immortal. The immortals are destined to be buried by time and devoured by death. A loud rumbling sound was heard. The long river of death seemed to cross the endless starry sky and the universe, running through the past, present, and future. This was the long river condensed by the Great Death technique, and it was very powerful. The long river of death directly wrapped around the kingdom of immortals, wanting to devour it directly. However, the kingdom of immortals was very terrifying, and it resisted the long river of death. Humph! Huangfu Qingdian sneered. A mere long river of death dares to be fierce in front of my kingdom of immortals. You're overestimating yourself, break for me! A long roar shook the 9 heavens. The kingdom of immortals was surrounded by immortal light, and it began to show its powerful power. It fell from the sky as if it could suppress the world. Bang! The kingdom of immortals bombarded the long river of death. The long river of death began to tremble violently. After 3 consecutive collisions, the long river of death. Finally, it couldn't resist and directly collapsed. Lin Feng waved his hand and used another lost art. Cold chi permeated the air between heaven and earth. This time, Lin Feng used the Great Ice technique. Frigid Ice Divine Kingdom! Frigid Ice Divine Kingdom! A series of low voices could be heard. Heaven and earth froze, and even the kingdom of immortals was sealed by the Frigid Ice Divine Kingdom. The Great Ice Art was one of the 3,000 great Taoists that Lin Feng had cultivated to perfection. After reaching great perfection, it transformed into the God of Ice. Now, the kingdom of immortals was sealed by the Frigid Ice Divine Kingdom. The Ice God appeared. Palm after palm struck the kingdom of immortals. How powerful! That's the Great Ice technique, which is one of the 3,000 great Tao skills, at the maximum level. Lin Feng is really talented. It's extremely difficult to reach the maximum level of any of the 3,000 great Tao skills. He's so young, and surprisingly, he managed to reach such a high level. No wonder he's a genius who only appears once in 100,000 years. Seeing that Lin Feng's great cold ice technique was so powerful, many people cried out in alarm. Bang, bang, bang. The God of Ice sent out 372 palm strikes in a row. The kingdom of immortals was about to be completely frozen. Within the Frigid Ice Divine Kingdom, the God of Ice turned into chains of order, binding the kingdom of immortals. Lin Feng's great ice art suppressed Huangfu Qingtian's kingdom of immortals. Immortals say that the world is without light, and all things wither. Immortals say that the world is immortal. Who can be eternal? Immortals say. At this moment, Huangfu Qingtian stepped forward in the void. A series of low and mysterious voices came out of his mouth. It was an extremely ancient language. No one knew what language it was. It was obscure and hard to understand. It could be a kind of incantation. When Huangfu Qingtian's voice fell, immortal light descended from the sky. Finally, they poured into the kingdom of immortals. Immortal light surged. A vast and majestic voice came from the kingdom of immortals. Who dares to blaspheme the majesty of the immortals? Whoever dares to do so will be punished by the immortals. The majesty of the immortals is inviolable, and the immortals' edicts are inviolable. Along with the ancient voice rang out. Waves of astonishing fluctuation spread out from the kingdom of immortals. Bang! The chains of order that locked the kingdom of immortals shattered. The kingdom of immortals' immortal power was vast and mighty, killing the god of ice and shattering the divine kingdom of ice. Then, it flew out and attacked Lin Feng. What a powerful kingdom of immortals! It broke Lin Feng's great ice art. Huang Fuqingtian's methods are also quite heaven-defying. According to him, the kingdom of immortals' power is even stronger than his previous Pangu Genesis technique. The true power of the kingdom of immortals hasn't been revealed yet. Many people were discussing spiritedly, looking excited. For the cultivators who were watching the show, the more intense the life and death duel in the arena was, the more enjoyable it was for them. Obviously, this duel had indeed stirred up everyone's emotions. The immortals created all living things. The immortals created the order of heaven and earth. The immortals created all the worlds in the universe. One after another, low voices rang out. The kingdom of immortals was surrounded by endless immortal light. Everyone saw. Inside the fruit of immortals, mysterious shadows appeared one after another. They were full of mystery. They were also extremely ancient. Are those immortals? Countless people were moved. Their hearts were filled with deep shock. Immortals. What a fleeting and ephemeral word. It was said that there were immortals in the world. But who had seen immortals? Now, there seemed to be traces of immortals in the kingdom of immortals formed by Huang Fuqingtian. This made everyone's heart tremble. They were all full of shock. The kingdom of immortals swept Lin Feng away. Crack, crack. The attack was indeed powerful. Lin Feng's bones had been broken by the kingdom of immortals. Lin Feng is injured. Many people frowned. They felt that Lin Feng's situation was very bad. Whoosh! With a flash of light, Lin Feng's injuries were healed. Immortal divine body! It's said that he has an immortal divine body. It seems that the rumors are true. Many people exclaimed. This is interesting. In addition to that family, there is also an immortal divine body, and the person who has the immortal divine body has nothing to do with that family. Some immortal realm experts of the 9 regions muttered to themselves, revealing a meaningful expression. That family was known as the immortal divine body family. Even in the 9 regions, it was the most powerful family. They did not dare to casually mention that family's name. The kingdom of immortals continued to suppress Lin Feng. The aura emitted by the kingdom of immortals became more and more tyrannical. It wanted to kill Lin Feng in one fell swoop. The kingdom of immortals was indeed too strong. It was so powerful that it was shocking. But Lin Feng was not without countermeasures. An ancient summoning incantation resounded between heaven and earth. The great plate of reincarnation supports the reincarnation and rebirth of countless creatures in the heavens. Even the immortals can't escape the fate of reincarnation. This was the incantation to summon the plate of reincarnation. Lin Feng recited it. As the ancient summoning incantation came out, a loud rumbling sound shook the world. Above the 9th heaven, a loud sound shook the sky. An endless amount of black fog was rolling. In the black fog, a mysterious huge wheel could be vaguely seen. It was looming. Chapter 1606. The plate of reincarnation was the ultimate meaning of the great reincarnation technique. Originally, Lin Feng needed to spend tens of thousands of years to summon the shadow of the plate of reincarnation. That was because his cultivation was relatively low, and he couldn't summon it with his own cultivation. But now it was different. Lin Feng had broken through to the immortal realm. There was no problem in summoning the shadow of the plate of reincarnation. It was said that when the great reincarnation technique was cultivated to the great perfection realm, one could even summon the real plate of reincarnation. It wasn't just a shadow. But now Lin Feng was only cultivating the first part of the great reincarnation technique. He didn't get the cultivation method of the second part of the great reincarnation technique. Therefore, the shadow of the plate of reincarnation he summoned was looming and couldn't be seen clearly. But even so, the power of summoning the shadow of the plate of reincarnation was unimaginably powerful. "What's that?" Many people cried out in surprise when they saw the huge mysterious wheel in the sky. Although they didn't know what it was, everyone could feel a terrifying aura from the mysterious wheel. That aura moved them, shocked them, and made them turn pale with fright. When the plate of reincarnation was summoned by Lin Feng, the plate of reincarnation began to spin. Rumble, waves of destructive aura fell from the sky as the plate of reincarnation spun, sweeping toward the kingdom of immortals. Bang! In an instant, the two sides collided. Even the powerful kingdom of immortals was shaken. Huangfu Qingtian's face suddenly darkened, as if he didn't expect Lin Feng to have such a powerful means. Huangfu Qingtian struck out with monstrous Dharma power. The Dharma power, all poured into the kingdom of immortals. The kingdom of immortals was strengthened. In the kingdom of immortals, the shadows of the immortals became more and more real. That lowly existence who blasphemed the dignity of the immortals is destined to become a skeleton. The immortals were roaring. Immortal light surged. The kingdom of immortals quickly rushed toward Lin Feng, trying to kill Lin Feng. Lin Feng continued to chant in the ancient language. This was a mysterious language, and it was also the incantation to activate the great reincarnation technique. Perhaps only cultivators who had cultivated the great reincarnation technique would understand what this language meant. The immortals are but one of the many living beings. Only the great Tao is eternal. The immortals will be buried by time and enter the cycle of reincarnation. Lin Feng chanted the incantation. Runes flew out and entered the wheel of reincarnation. The power of the wheel of reincarnation had also increased substantially. Rumble! 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 The plate of reincarnation began to spin again. This time, the rotation was even more violent. The power released. Even more powerful. Bang, bang, bang. 3 consecutive collisions. The kingdom of immortals was completely suppressed by the plate of reincarnation. Crack! Crack! Everyone saw that the kingdom of immortals had begun to crumble. Lin Feng is too strong! Many people roared in shock. Their hearts were deeply shaken. Lin Feng's combat strength was indeed beyond everyone's expectations. Among the crowd, Yu Ji, Du Zhu, the 4 patriarchs of the Temple of Spiritual Array Masters, Jian Yudi, and the others all looked happy. They naturally hoped that Lin Feng could win this battle and kill Huangfu Qingtian. The cultivators of the Heavenly Fiend clan, Yuhua Immortal Dynasty, Heavenly God Temple, and other forces all looked indifferent. They hoped that Lin Feng would be defeated and killed by Huangfu Qingtian. The immortal plate of reincarnation, release your divine power and let the kingdom of immortals be reincarnated. Lin Feng continued to chant the incantation to activate the power of the plate of reincarnation. Boom! A huge beam of light was shot out by the plate of reincarnation. It bombarded the kingdom of immortals. Crack! Crack! The kingdom of immortals collapsed. The plate of reincarnation began to spin violently. The powerful reincarnation force swept toward Huangfu Qingtian. Huangfu Qingtian was struck. His body was swept away. Barf! He spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned pale. Lin Feng looked at Huangfu Qingtian with a sneer. Is this your pride? I really thought you could crush me, but in the end, you really let me down. The orthodoxy of Pangu Immortal is just SOS so. Before, Huangfu Qingtian had all kinds of contempt and disdain for Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't even refute. A verbal refutation. It was always weak. And the best way to fight back was to injure the other party. Now, Huangfu Qingtian was spitting out blood because of Lin Feng's plate of reincarnation. This was the best way to fight back. Huangfu Qingtian's face was gloomy. He had never been humiliated like that before. He wished he could cut Lin Feng into 1,000 pieces, and cut him into 10,000 pieces. The plate of reincarnation began to spin again. Huangfu Qingtian was swept away again. Ah! Huangfu Qingtian was mad with hatred. Endless killing intent flashed in his eyes. You have angered me. Today, I will kill you! He roared angrily. A terrifying aura spread out from Huangfu Qingtian's body. The god of grains is Xuanca! Huangfu Qingtian suddenly roared. As his voice fell, suddenly, above the ninth heaven, divine light surged. In the endless divine light, a huge stone gate appeared. The gate of Xianpin! An old Taoist shouted in shock. The old Taoist suddenly recited. The god of grains is Xuanca. The gate of Xianpin is the root of heaven and earth. It is continuous and does not need to be used frequently. This was a passage recorded in the Taoist Bible, the Tao Te Ching. The gate of Xianpin mentioned in the Tao Te Ching was the gate of Xianpin summoned by Huangfu Qingtian. Tao gave birth to 1, 1 gave birth to 2, 2 gave birth to 3, and 3 gave birth to all things. Tao is the origin of all things in heaven and earth. All things in heaven and earth are born from it. It is the mother of all things in the universe. As the origin of the universe, Tao exists forever. In other words, the laws and fundamental particles that make up all things will never die. This is the so-called God of grains is immortal. The gate of Xianpin is the root of Tao. As long as the God of grains is immortal, it can condense all kinds of Tao, and Tao will never die. The gate of Xianpin was regarded by Taoist cultivators as the embodiment of the Tao of heaven and earth. It was deduced based on the God of grains' immortality. It contained profound content about the universe, matter, and so on. It was mysterious and difficult to understand. Huangfu Qingtian was able to summon the gate of Xianpin. Obviously, he had a deep understanding of the Taoist Bible. After the gate of Xianpin appeared, it crushed the void and crashed toward Lin Feng's wheel of samsara. Waves of Tao aura surged out from the gate of Xianpin. Then, a loud and majestic voice came from the gate of Xianpin. The god of grains is Xuanca. It was like an immortal Tao voice. It had existed since before the creation of heaven and earth. It had crossed endless time and space. It had been transmitted. In this era. Rumble, at the same time. The wheel of samsara also moved and crushed the sky. It crashed toward the gate of Xianpin. Chapter 1607. Bang! Accompanied by an earth-shattering collision sound, the sound of the collision rang out. The wheel of samsara and the gate of Xianpin collided violently. With the collision as the center, large cracks in the void swept out. Hiss! Seeing this scene, many people sucked in a breath of cold air. The collision between the wheel of samsara and the gate of Xianpin sent chills down their spines. Above the 9 heavens, it was as if 2 ancient gods were colliding. What a terrifying secret art! Huangfu Qingtian's gate of Xianpin is a supreme secret art of Taoism. He obtained Pangu's orthodoxy, and Pangu was later the primeval Lord of Heaven. The primeval Lord of Heaven was one of the 3 ancestors of Taoism. Therefore, I'm not surprised that he mastered the supreme secret art of Taoism. What I'm curious about is that mysterious wheel Lin Feng summoned. It can actually block the attack of the gate of Xianpin. Immediately, a deity state expert voiced out the doubts in his heart. No one recognized the wheel of samsara. This was because the great samsara art had been lost since the immortal ancient era. No one had seen what the great samsara art looked like for countless years. Therefore, when Lin Feng used the great samsara art, no one thought that it was related to the great samsara art. What a powerful gate of Xianpin! Lin Feng was shocked. He began to frantically activate the wheel of samsara. Rumble! Rumble! The wheel of samsara began to spin. Every time it spun, the void was collapsing. The gate of Xianpin was not to be outdone. It emitted the aura of the great Tao. Bang! 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 The 2 sides collided again. They collided again and again. Every time they collided, it was as if they could shatter the void and shatter the sky. The power was so strong that it was shocking. They collided a total of 179 times. In the end, the wheel of samsara shattered. the gate of Xian Pin also disappeared. These were two peerless secret arts. In the end, they were evenly matched and both were destroyed. At this time, Huangfu Qingtian took the initiative to walk towards Lin Feng. His expression was ice-cold, and his voice was filled with murderous intent. He coldly glanced at Lin Feng and said, "Let me show you one of my ultimate techniques, the 9-rotation technique." Swish. As soon as he finished speaking, light flickered. Huangfu Qingtian appeared one after another. A total of 9 Huangfu Qingtian appeared. Including the original Huangfu Qingtian, there were a total of 10 Huangfu Qingtians. This is the technique Huangfu Qingtian used to deal with those demonic monks in the Origin secret region. Lin Feng's brows twitched violently when he saw Huangfu Qingtian using this technique. Huangfu Qingtian's unique skill was unfathomable. Back then, Lin Feng had seen him use this ultimate technique to block 10 powerful demonic monks by himself. From this, one could see how terrifying this absolute art was. Lin Feng scanned the 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones with his spiritual force. There were 10 Huangfu Qingtian. They were all real. How is this possible? Lin Feng exclaimed in disbelief. These Huangfu Qingtian clones were not puppets, and they were clones from time to time. None of them seemed to be Huangfu Qingtian's original body. He was too strange. Lin Feng had never seen such an evil divine ability. Why are there 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones? Which one is the real one? The one on the left is the real one. After he used that powerful divine ability, he created 9 clones, and he's standing in the 6th position on the left. Idiot, these 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones must have switched positions at will. The real Huangfu Qingtian is definitely not in the 6th position on the left. Many people were discussing spiritedly as they used their spiritual force to see which one was the real Huangfu Qingtian. However, the result was exactly the same as Lin Feng's. These 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones were all real. Huangfu Qingtian's divine ability was too strange. The 9 clones were able to pass off as the real Huangfu Qingtian. It's time to end this battle, the 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones said at the same time. Asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh. Asterisk immediately after, the 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones all rushed toward Lin Feng. Lin Feng had a clone of the godly layer and 3 poisonous puppets. However, the poisonous puppets were too weak. If they were used, they would be instantly destroyed by Huangfu Qingtian. After all, there was only one God Realm clone, and it could only deal with 1 Huangfu Qingtian clones. It was better to leave them in his dantian. That way, Lin Feng could still use the clone's magical power for his own use. Asterisk boom 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 boom. Asterisk the 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones attacked together, using all kinds of divine abilities to attack Lin Feng. In the face of the 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones' attacks, Lin Feng took out the Death God armor. With the protection of this divine artifact of the giant divine soldier level, it could help him neutralize most of the attacks. Lin Feng attacked and fought against the 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones. Lin Feng couldn't fight against so many of them and was blown away. He coughed up a mouthful of blood. It's too strange. Why are each Huangfu Qingtian clones as strong as Huangfu Qingtian's real body? Lin Feng was astonished. He had never seen such a terrifying skill. It was monstrously strong. Lin Feng is injured. Huangfu Qingtian's 9 revolution clones technique is too powerful. It's almost flawless. Lin Feng is really in trouble now. If he can't find a way to break the technique, he might be killed by Huangfu Qingtian. Many people frowned as they watched the battle in the God's Arena. Now, the 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones were attacking Lin Feng violently. All kinds of divine abilities were attacking Lin Feng. Even though Lin Feng was wearing the Death God's armor, he was still injured. Ah! Lin Feng roared and circulated his sovereign blood. Loud rumbling sounds could be heard. 5 devouring martial spirits appeared. Then, the 5 devouring martial spirits merged into one. Standing in the black hole, Lin Feng looked at his ancestors. Lin Feng used the Sovereign's Armageddon technique. Boom! With the black hole as the center, everything within 100 meters turned into a confining magnetic field. The 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones were all imprisoned in the air by Lin Feng's magnetic field. Oh? You want to imprison me? The 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones sneered at the same time. Then, the runes inside the 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones surged into the sky. As the mysterious runes surged out, the magnetic field's power was greatly weakened. It wouldn't take long. The 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones would be able to move freely. Bridge of helplessness. Lin Feng's expression was cold. He quickly moved, circulating his immortal blood and forming the bridge. In an instant, he arrived beside the first Huangfu Qingtian. His fist was surrounded by endless sovereign blood. Lin Feng used the sovereign blood to activate the supreme reincarnation punch he had created. The sovereign blood was the power Lin Feng produced by circulating his bloodline. It was the inheritance of his mother's family, and it was Lin Feng's trump card. The supreme reincarnation punch was Lin Feng's natal superpower. He used the sovereign blood to activate his natal superpower. This punch. It was Lin Feng's strongest punch. Bang! Lin Feng's punch landed on the first Huangfu Qingtian. The first Huangfu Qingtian couldn't withstand Lin Feng's attack and exploded, vanishing into thin air. Lin Feng looked indifferent. He stepped on the bridge of helplessness and arrived in front of the second Huangfu Qingtian in an instant. Then, he threw a punch at the second Huangfu Qingtian. Lin Feng moved quickly. He wanted to kill all 10 Huangfu Qingtian clones before they could break free from the magnetic field. Chapter 1608. Bang! With a dull sound of collision, the second Huangfu Qingtian was killed by Lin Feng with a punch. This was not Huangfu Qingtian's true body. No one knew what kind of existence it was. Could it be a doppelganger? There were 8 Huangfu Qingtian left. The runes in the 8 Huangfu Qingtian's bodies became increasingly dazzling. The runes were constantly neutralizing the magnetic field's suppression on Huangfu Qingtian. However, Lin Feng's attack was too fast. Time would determine the outcome of this battle. It would determine their life and death. Lin Feng was racing against time. Bang, bang, bang. The Huangfu Qingtians were killed by Lin Feng one after another. The Huangfu Qingtians that he killed were not his true body. This was because Huangfu Qingtian's true body could switch back and forth with his doppelganger. Even if Lin Feng had locked onto his true body, Huangfu Qingtian could switch between his true body and his doppelganger in an instant before his attack landed on the doppelganger. In the end, Lin Feng's attack would hit the doppelganger while his true body would not suffer any damage. It did not take long for the 9 Huangfu Qingtians to be killed by Lin Feng. There was only one Huangfu Qingtian left. This was Huangfu Qingtian's true body. Is Huangfu Qingtian going to be killed? Many people exclaimed when they saw Lin Feng rushing toward Huangfu Qingtian. Huangfu Qingtian's strength was needless to say. But at that moment, when facing Lin Feng's attacks, it seemed like he was about to collapse. Everybody was astonished. They did not expect the battle to end like this. The confinement technique that Lin Feng used was indeed too powerful. It was not unbelievable that Huangfu Qingtian would be killed. When Lin Feng arrived in front of Huangfu Qingtian's true body and wanted to kill him, Huangfu Qingtian regained his ability to move and quickly flew backward, dodging Lin Feng's attack. He neutralized Lin Feng's confinement magnetic field. Countless spectating cultivators could not stop themselves from shouting out in excitement. What they wanted the most was for the two of them to continue fighting. At any rate, they were here to watch a show. The more exciting it was, the better. Ending it too early would only disappoint them. Bloodline! Awaken! Huangfu Qingtian roared. Roar! Suddenly, a dragon's roar came from Huangfu Qingtian's body. Then, a mysterious world appeared behind Huangfu Qingtian. In that world, there was a 10,000-meter-long azure dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, and its dragon might shook the heavens. A true dragon! That was the supreme true dragon of the dragon clan! Is Huangfu Qingtian's bloodline related to a true dragon? Many people exclaimed. Since ancient times, only a few true dragons had appeared. Once a true dragon was fully grown. Dragons was a dragon. It's true! So the rumor. A cultivator exclaimed in shock. What rumor? Someone asked in confusion. Rumor has it that Huangfu Qingtian devoured dragon blood when he was a child. He was only 6 or 7 years old at the time. He should have died after devouring dragon blood, but he didn't die. Instead, his body was transformed by the dragon blood. His true dragon bloodline must be related to the dragon blood he devoured back then. I'm guessing that the dragon blood he devoured back then was the blood of a true dragon. Many people were shocked. Huangfu Qingtian's fortuitous encounter was too heaven-defying. He was able to survive after devouring dragon blood. It was said that even gods would die if they devoured the true dragon's blood. How did Huangfu Qingtian survive when he was only 6 or 7 years old? It was truly inconceivable. After activating the true dragon bloodline, Huangfu Qingtian's body changed. Dragon scales appeared on the surface of his body. The dragon scales wrapped around his body. Boom! Next, Huangfu Qingtian's body emitted a powerful true dragon's power. This was the power of a true dragon's bloodline. It was similar to Lin Feng's immortal divine blood producing immortal divine power. It was the same as the sovereign blood producing sovereign power. The true dragon's power wrapped around Huangfu Qingtian. Huangfu Qingtian walked toward Lin Feng step by step and said coldly, "It has been many years since anyone forced me to use my bloodline power. Today you have done it. Even if you die, you should be proud." As soon as he finished speaking, he jumped up and threw a punch at Lin Feng. "True dragon fist!" he roared, and a true dragon's shadow appeared behind him. The true dragon roared at the sky, as if its roar could shatter the starry sky. This time, Huangfu Qingtian was like a true dragon emperor descending to the world. Sovereign destruction! Lin Feng looked indifferent. He stepped forward and punched Huangfu Qingtian with his right fist. "Your offensive bloodline is very powerful, but you've only awakened the first layer. My Azure Dragon bloodline has 9 layers in total, and I've already awakened the 5th layer, the true dragon bloodline. What do you have to fight me?" Huangfu Qingtian said coldly. These powerful bloodlines were usually divided into 9 levels. Every time a bloodline was awakened, one would obtain a powerful ability. For example, Lin Feng's immortal divine blood had awakened 3 levels, and he had obtained 3 powerful abilities. 9 Steps of Death, Hell's Gate, Bridge of Helplessness. Lin Feng's ruler's great imperial blood had awakened 1 level, and he had obtained the ruler's world-destroying skill. Huangfu Qingtian's true dragon fist was a powerful ability given to him by the 5th level of his true dragon bloodline. Bang! His attack collided with Lin Feng's. As expected, Lin Feng was sent flying. Although the sovereign destruction technique was powerful, it was only the 1st level of the sovereign blood. It couldn't compete with the 5th level of the true dragon bloodline. Huangfu Qingtian followed up with another attack, throwing punch after punch at Lin Feng. Crack! Crack! Many of Lin Feng's bones were broken by Huangfu Qingtian. He kept coughing up blood, trying to break free from Huangfu Qingtian. However, Huangfu Qingtian had completely locked onto him, and he didn't even have the chance to do so. Huangfu Qingtian's attacks were endless, as if he wanted to kill Lin Feng in one fell swoop, not giving Lin Feng any chance to counterattack. Is Lin Feng going to be killed by Huangfu Qingtian? Many people watched the battle on the Myriad God Arena in shock. Huangfu Qingtian's combat strength after awakening his true dragon bloodline was too terrifying. It was simply despairing. Die! Huangfu Qingtian laughed sinisterly and threw a punch at Lin Feng's head. At the moment of life and death, the bridge of helplessness appeared under Lin Feng's feet. He stepped on the bridge and appeared 100 meters away, dodging Huangfu Qingtian's fatal attack. Huangfu Qingtian quickly charged at Lin Feng and sneered. "What's the point? No matter how much an ant struggles, it will only die in front of a dragon." Chapter 1609. The ability of the 5th level of the true dragon bloodline is so powerful. Lin Feng took a deep breath as he watched Huangfu Qingtian walk toward him step by step. His expression became more and more serious. In fact, Lin Feng's sovereign bloodline was only a step away from awakening the second ability, but it was this step that prevented him from successfully awakening it. The awakening ability of a special bloodline was related to many aspects. However, there were two key factors. The first factor was the purity of the special bloodline. The second factor was the proportion of the special bloodline in the body. Of these two factors, the purity of the bloodline was the most important. Of course, if the purity wasn't high enough, the special bloodline might be able to awaken it if the proportion of the special bloodline was high enough. For example, when Lin Feng's immortal divine blood occupied 20% of his blood, he didn't awaken the special ability. This might be because the special bloodline wasn't pure enough and contained too many impurities. If the special bloodline occupied 30% of the blood in the body, at that time, the bloodline ability might be awakened. In addition, if the proportion of the special bloodline in the blood was too low, the bloodline ability wouldn't be awakened. Generally, the special bloodline needed to occupy more than 10% of the blood in the body to have a chance to awaken the special ability. The higher the proportion of the special bloodline occupied and the purer the special bloodline was, the greater the chance of awakening the bloodline ability. Huangfu Qingtian's true dragon bloodline had reached the 5th level, which meant that his true dragon bloodline had transformed 5 times. Obviously, the proportion of his true dragon bloodline in his body was extremely high. In theory, it was best for a cultivator to have 2 special bloodlines. Everything was about the balance of yin and yang. Each special bloodline occupied 50% of the blood in the body. It was in line with the balance of yin and yang. It was in line with the great Tao of heaven and earth. Lin Feng had 2 bloodlines, and so did Huangfu Qingtian. Lin Feng's immortal divine blood had awakened 30%. His sovereign bloodline had awakened 15%. He hadn't awakened 50% of each bloodline to form the cycle of yin and yang. However, Lin Feng guessed that Huangfu Qingtian might have already done it. His bloodline had been transformed by the true dragon blood, and later, he devoured Pangu's blood. Lin Feng estimated that his second bloodline should be a bloodline modified by Pangu's blood, and also an incomparably powerful bloodline. That was why such a powerful Huangfu Qingtian was created. Now, Huangfu Qingtian strode over and threw another punch at Lin Feng. Lin Feng executed the void traversal technique to dodge Huangfu Qingtian's attack. Huangfu Qingtian's expression suddenly sank as he sneered and said, "What a coward! Now you only dare to dodge and not face me head-on. If you're afraid, then kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. I'll naturally spare your dog life." Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He didn't say anything but was thinking about how to deal with Huangfu Qingtian. Lin Feng thought of several ways to deal with Huangfu Qingtian. In the end, Lin Feng chose the method he thought was the safest. When Huangfu Qingtian attacked again, Lin Feng didn't dodge and instead charged at him. Huangfu Qingtian was slightly surprised to see Lin Feng take the initiative to charge at him, but then he sneered. Even a coward dares to take the initiative to attack? Huangfu Qingtian's expression was cold and disdainful. His true dragon bloodline had awakened 5 times, so he was absolutely confident that he could suppress Lin Feng. True dragon power surged out and coiled around his fist as he punched at Lin Feng. Ancient haste. Lin Feng attacked, using the peerless technique recorded in the first chapter of the Great Reincarnation Art. Ancient haste billions of years. Deprive you of your lifespan. Age you instantly. Let your strength quickly fade away. Bang! Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian collided. With this attack, Lin Feng was sent flying again. Huangfu Qingtian's expression was smug and cold. He jumped up and attacked Lin Feng. But at that moment, Huangfu Qingtian realized that something was wrong. He was shocked to find that his magic power was rapidly fading away. His powerful true dragon bloodline was getting weaker and weaker. The power of his bloodline was crumbling. Normally, when one was in the prime of their life and moving toward old age, their bloodline would collapse. But how old was Huangfu Qingtian? He was only 35 years old. He had a lifespan of millions of years. He was 35 years old. This was the beginning of cultivation. His life had just begun. Why did he feel that his bloodline was collapsing? Was his magic power fading? Oh my God, what's going on? Countless onlookers looked at Huangfu Qingtian in disbelief. Their faces were full of shock. Huangfu Qingtian was rapidly aging. It didn't take long for him to turn from a handsome young man to a young man. He had become a very old man. It's Lin Feng. He took away Huangfu Qingtian's lifespan. Someone came back to his senses and cried out in horror. It was really too terrifying. It was unbelievable that Huangfu Qingtian's lifespan was taken away in an instant. Ah! How can this be? Huangfu Qingtian looked at his aging body in disbelief and couldn't help but roar. Huangfu Qingtian, die! Lin Feng looked indifferent as he charged at Huangfu Qingtian. This was when Huangfu Qingtian was at his weakest. Lin Feng knew this very well. The effect of immemorial rush couldn't last for too long. Therefore, Lin Feng wanted to kill Huangfu Qingtian as soon as possible while he was aging. If he couldn't kill Huangfu Qingtian would be on guard and it would be extremely difficult to use immemorial rush against him. Lin Feng circulated his ruler's power and activated the Supreme Reincarnation Fist. A faint shadow of the Wheel of Samsara appeared behind his back. The shadow of the reincarnation wheel curled around Lin Feng's fist and emitted a destructive power. In an instant, he arrived in front of Huangfu Qingtian and engaged in a fierce battle with him. Huangfu Qingtian's lifespan was taken away, his magic power was aging, his bloodline was collapsing, and his battle strength was sharply reduced. Originally, he could suppress Lin Feng, but now he was suppressed by Lin Feng. After Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian exchanged 13 punches, Lin Feng finally found an opportunity and punched Huangfu Qingtian's chest. Huangfu Qingtian was blown away. Crack! Crack! Huangfu Qingtian's chest caved in and many of his bones were broken. Lin Feng moved as fast as lightning. His right hand was like a gigantic axe, and he chopped down with all his might. His left hand activated the Supreme Reincarnation Fist and attacked Huangfu Qingtian. Huangfu Qingtian blocked Lin Feng's attack with his left hand. Crack! Lin Feng's attack landed on Huangfu Qingtian's arm. Huangfu Qingtian's arm broke. The Supreme Reincarnation Fist formed by Lin Feng's left hand collided with Huangfu Qingtian's. Huangfu Qingtian was sent flying and spat out 3 mouthfuls of blood. Lin Feng was about to rush up and kill Huangfu Qingtian, but the effect of immemorial haste came and Huangfu Qingtian recovered his youth. Ah! After recovering, Huangfu Qingtian roared angrily. Lin Feng, I'm going to tear you into pieces. Panga's bloodline, awaken! Boom! The second bloodline in Huangfu Qingtian's body was awakened instantly. Panga's bloodline. Ancient, powerful, and mysterious. The moment Panga's bloodline was awakened, many people even had an illusion. Huangfu Qingtian seemed to be Panga's reincarnation. Chapter 1610. After the awakening of his Panga bloodline, Huangfu Qingtian's aura became even more terrifying. This should be Huangfu Qingtian's strongest state. The combination of the true dragon bloodline and the Panga bloodline was already heaven-defying. Coupled with the even more powerful Panga bloodline, it was even more terrifying. Many people turned pale as they looked at Huangfu Qingtian in horror. Facing Huangfu Qingtian, many godly realm experts couldn't help but kneel on the ground and kowtow. Not to mention ordinary cultivators. Lin Feng frowned slightly. Huangfu Qingtian's aura was so terrifying that it made him shudder. The only thing he could be thankful for was that Huangfu Qingtian's physical condition wasn't ideal. First, Huangfu Qingtian's right arm was broken. Huangfu Qingtian's sternum was also broken. His injuries were quite serious. Huangfu Qingtian's combat strength would definitely be greatly reduced with his injuries. Although he had awakened his Panga bloodline, Lin Feng felt that it wasn't impossible to fight. A battle of life and death. This is the first time I'm using my Panga bloodline. You're lucky to be the first cultivator to die under my Panga bloodline attack. Huangfu Qingtian walked toward Lin Feng step by step. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His entire body was filled with endless majesty and domineering aura. He really looked like the reincarnation of Pangu, said Lin Feng icily. It's hard to say who will be the one to kill whom, Huangfu Qingtian said coldly. Now that my true dragon bloodline and Panga bloodline have awakened, do you think you can deal with my two bloodlines? I know you also have two bloodlines, but so what? My two bloodlines have already awakened by 50%. I don't have any ordinary blood in my body anymore. I have special bloodlines, and they form a yin and yang cycle. They're perfectly compatible with the Tao of heaven and earth. As for your special bloodline, how much have you awakened? Huangfu Qingtian was not only powerful, but also had a sharp eye. He could see Lin Feng's true condition at a glance. Pangu Genesis. Huangfu Qingtian made his move. He let out a low roar and used a peerless technique. This was the inheritance of Pangu's bloodline. It was a supreme technique created by Pangu. Pangu. Creation of the heavens and earth. He created the world. As Huangfu Qingtian walked toward Lin Feng step by step, his body actually began to expand. This is transforming into Pangu? Seeing this scene, some cultivators immediately exclaimed. Huangfu Qingtian's Panga creation art was extremely bizarre. He used the Panga bloodline as his foundation, combined with the power of the Panga bloodline. Then, transform into the Panga giant body. Following the transformation, Huangfu Qingtian's aura grew stronger and more terrifying. His body soon reached a height of 3,000 meters. He transformed into a giant. Heavenly Law's embodiment of Earth. Lin Feng let out a long roar. His body began to grow rapidly, becoming 3,000 meters tall. Huangfu Qingtian sneered and said, "This is the bloodline power contained in my Panga bloodline. It allows me to complete the transformation and greatly increase my combat strength. How can your puny Heavenly Law's embodiment of Earth compare to me? In my eyes, Heavenly Law's embodiment of Earth is nothing but a minor Tao." Huangfu Qingtian let out a roar and punched toward Lin Feng. Above his fist, there was a terrifying power lingering around it. It was the power of creation. The power to create the world. Lin Feng activated the supreme reincarnation fist with the power of a ruler and punched toward Huangfu Qingtian. Bang! The two huge bodies collided. The world shook. It was as if two connate life forms from the era of creation had collided. Thump, 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 thump! Lin Feng couldn't help but be pushed back. The power of world creation swirling around Huangfu Qingtian's fist was terrifying. It broke Lin Feng's supreme reincarnation fist in an instant. My power of creation can create worlds. Creation is accompanied by destruction. If you want to create, you must first destroy everything in the original world. Therefore, my power of creation also has the power to destroy the world. Huangfu Qingtian stepped forward and let out a long roar, punching toward Lin Feng one after another. His attacks were fierce and violent. 21 punches in a row. Lin Feng couldn't bear it. His Heavenly Law's embodiment of Earth was directly interrupted by Huangfu Qingtian. His body returned to its original size. Huangfu Qingtian slapped toward Lin Feng with his palm. It was an extremely powerful palm. Lin Feng's body was violently slapped. Clang! Lin Feng's body smashed into the god's arena. Huangfu Qingtian's attack made Lin Feng's insides burn. What a terrifying Panga bloodline. Lin Feng's expression was extremely grave. If he could awaken the second level of the sovereign bloodline, Lin Feng believed that the new ability of the sovereign bloodline would definitely be able to contend with the Panga bloodline. But there was nothing he could do. The sovereign bloodline was only a step away from awakening the second ability. But Lin Feng was extremely annoyed by the fact that he had missed the mark. He quickly got up and rushed into the distance. Huangfu Qingtian lifted his giant foot and kicked Lin Feng, sending Lin Feng flying. Clang! Lin Feng fell to the ground again. Crack! Crack! He didn't know how many bones in his body were broken. He coughed up a mouthful of blood. Lin Feng's current physical condition was very bad. He hurriedly activated his immortal divine body to heal his injured body. It's useless. Your immortal divine body can't save you. Huangfu Qintian grinned and stomped his foot. His foot, which was as huge as a mountain, fell from the sky. Back. Lin Feng quickly retreated. He dodged Huangfu Qintian's attack by a hair's breadth. Seeing the fierce battle in the arena, everyone was dumbfounded. This battle was simply too intense. Lin Feng and Huangfu Qintian both displayed amazing combat strength. But until now, both sides had used all their means. Everyone could naturally see that the scales of victory were tilted toward Huangfu Qintian. After awakening the Panga bloodline, Huangfu Qintian's combat strength was too heaven-defying. Lin Feng seemed to only have the strength to parry and didn't have the strength to fight back. Didn't this mean that this battle was about to end? Seeing that Lin Feng was at a disadvantage, Yuji, Jiang Yudi, Du Zhu, and the others looked grave and worried. The Yuhua Immortal Dynasty, Gongziyu of the Sky Fiend Clan, Heavenly God Hall, and other forces were gloating. Boom! Boom! Huangfu Qintian attacked, sweeping all kinds of powerful attacks toward Lin Feng. Bang! 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 Lin Feng was sent flying several times, and his injuries were getting more and more serious. Moreover, his magic power consumption was too serious. He couldn't use his immortal divine body to heal his injuries anymore. If this continues, I'm afraid I'll die. In that case, I can only use that move. Lin Feng's eyes flashed with a gloomy look. He gritted his teeth and soared into the sky, quickly flying to an altitude of 3,000 meters. He was at the same height as Huangfu Qingtian's head. Are you here to die? Huangfu Qingtian's huge hand covered the sky and grabbed at Lin Feng. Chapter 16:11. Swoosh! When Huangfu Qingtian tried to grab Lin Feng's body quickly disappeared. Huangfu Qingtian's grab caught nothing but air. Lin Feng then appeared behind Huangfu Qingtian. His natal treasure, the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp, flew out and entered Huangfu Qingtian's mind. Lin Feng's final move was a soul attack. The soul was the core of all living things. If the soul was destroyed, the cultivator would die without a burial place. After Huangfu Qingtian transformed into the Panga giant, his battle prowess was too heaven-defying. He wanted to turn the tables and defeat Huangfu Qingtian. There was only one possibility. He had to destroy Huangfu Qingtian's soul. The Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp emitted a powerful aura and flew quickly in Huangfu Qingtian's mind, searching for his soul. You want to destroy my soul? How ridiculous! Huangfu Qingtian sneered. Since your soul has entered my mind, don't even think about leaving. I'll destroy your soul completely and let you die. After Huangfu Qingtian finished speaking, the space where the god's arena was located seemed to have fallen into stillness. Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian stood motionless. This is because the two of them were having a soul battle. The most dangerous part of a battle between cultivators was actually a soul battle. If they used divine abilities to fight, they would only injure their bodies. However, if they were careless in a soul battle, their souls would be destroyed. At that time, their souls would be annihilated. Why are the two of them not moving? Some cultivators murmured. It's a soul battle. The lamp just now should be Lin Feng's natal treasure. It probably carried Lin Feng's soul into Huangfu Qingtian's mind. Lin Feng is going to have a final battle with Huangfu Qingtian. A godly state expert explained. Countless people sucked in a breath of cold air. A soul battle was usually left as a last resort. It would only be used as a last resort. Now, Lin Feng had launched a soul attack. Obviously, everyone knew. Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian were going to have a life and death battle. Everyone looked at the god's arena nervously, waiting for the result of the soul battle between Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian. In Huangfu Qingtian's mind, endless divine light surged out. An ancient bell flew out. This is my personal treasure, The bell of heaven and earth. You want to use it to attack my soul? You're dreaming, said Yi Futian. A cold voice came from the small bell. It was Huang Fuqingtian's soul. Hum! The primal chaos ancient lamp flew out. At that moment, Lin Feng had no room to retreat. Huang Fuqingtian would not to die in this battle. Lin Feng was the one who would die. Humph! Huang Fuqingtian's soul snorted and drove the supreme bell of heaven and earth toward the ancient lamp of chaos. Clang! Clang! Every collision. It was as if heaven and earth were shaking. This kind of power was Tu's. The two treasures were very powerful. Lin Feng's primal chaos ancient lamp was forged with primal chaos ancestral qi as the foundation and integrated with primal chaos ancestral qi. Huang Fuqingtian's bell of heaven and earth was also extraordinary. It was made of the same material as the sky-shaking steel. Lin Feng was shocked. Huang Fuqingtian had one lucky encounter after another. He could even find such a precious material. After hundreds of collisions, the two treasures could not determine a winner. The primal chaos ancient lamp swept out primal chaos light. And the bell of heaven and earth swept out immortal light. The two artifacts collided once again, resulting in a stalemate. Soul miniature man, sword out? When the two treasures confronted each other, and no one could do anything to the other, Lin Feng launched a soul's secret technique. His primary and secondary primordial spirits merged and turned into a soul miniature man. It rushed out of the primal chaos ancient lamp. It attacked Huang Fuqingtian's soul, which was hidden in the bell of heaven and earth. If I can suppress you in terms of Dharma powers, I can also suppress your soul. You're a piece of trash, you're far inferior to me in every aspect. The only reason you exist is to become my stepping stone. Huang Fuqingtian's soul laughed sinisterly. Huang Fuqingtian was arrogant. From the beginning to the end. He had never looked down on Lin Feng. Now, he was still acting all high and mighty. He looked down on Lin Feng. Endless soul power gushed out of the bell of heaven and earth. Huang Fuqingtian's soul also flew out. His soul turned into a chaos divine beast. Is this chaos one of the four archean evils? Lin Feng was shocked. Huang Fuqingtian sneered. You're ignorant. This is the chaos ancestor beast, one of the four archean evils. It only has a part of the chaos ancestor beast's bloodline. How can it compare to the Chaos Ancestor Beast? Huang Fuqingtian's soul turned into the Chaos Ancestor Beast and rushed to Lin Feng's soul. Then, it waved its huge claw. It slapped at Huang Fuqingtian. Bang! This attack. It sent Lin Feng's tiny soul flying. The two soul attacks were not on the same level. Lin Feng's tiny soul was almost crushed by Huang Fuqingtian's primal Chaos Ancestor's claws. His soul had been injured. But fortunately, this injury wasn't fatal. Too weak. I'll kill your soul in 3 moves. Huang Fuqingtian's soul turned into the Chaos Ancestor Beast and laughed sinisterly. Then, it charged at Lin Feng again. It waved its huge claw. Another claw slapped at Huang Fuqingtian. The situation. It was extremely dangerous. Lu Ye's stargazing chart! Lin Feng's tiny soul roared. This was his trump card. Now, he was using it. Hongjun and Hotian. Dalord Luya was still in front. Among the Khanate lifeforms, Pangu was supreme. The Chaos Ancestor Beast couldn't compare to Pangu. Pangu's master was Hongjun. Dalord Luya could suppress Hongjun. Therefore, Dalord Luya had created the Luya's stargazing chart. It wasn't something that Huang Fuqingtian's Chaos Ancestor Beast could compare to. Lin Feng's tiny soul unleashed Lu Ye's stargazing chart. It was an ancient divine chart. It condensed. Then, he charged toward the chaos beast ancestor that Huang Fuqingtian had turned into. Bang! 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 The two sides collided fiercely. Lin Feng's soul was almost shattered. But Huang Fuqingtian's soul was even worse. It exploded. How could this be? Huang Fuqingtian's soul roared unwillingly. His soul flew toward the supreme bell of heaven and earth. You can't escape! Lin Feng's tiny soul shouted coldly. Lu Ye's stargazing chart descended from the sky. Bang! This blow landed on Huang Fuqingtian's remnant soul. Huang Fuqingtian's soul was instantly obliterated. Lin Feng's tiny soul returned to the primal chaos ancient lamp. Then, the lamp returned to Lin Feng's mind. His soul returned to his body. Lin Feng regained control of his body. He opened his eyes and slashed at Huang Fuqingtian's head with his right hand. Puff! Huang Fuqingtian's head flew into the sky. Blood spurted out, gushing out. Chapter 1612. Huang Fuqingtian was actually killed! Oh my god! Huang Fuqingtian was actually killed in this battle! It's really incredible! He killed Huang Fuqingtian! Countless voices resounded. Originally, everyone thought that Huang Fuqingtian would win this battle when they saw that he had gained the upper hand in the battle with Lin Feng. But the result was completely unexpected. It was Huang Fuqingtian who had been killed. A battle of souls! Huang Fuqingtian lost! Many people murmured. This was the only explanation. In terms of magical power, Huang Fuqingtian had the upper hand. However, he lost in the most dangerous and crucial battle of souls. Qingtian! The people of the Yuhua immortal dynasty roared in grief. Huang Fuqingtian was regarded as the hope of the Yuhua immortal dynasty. But now, he was killed by Lin Feng. The people of the Yuhua immortal dynasty wished they could cut Lin Feng into pieces. After Huang Fuqingtian was killed, his body quickly shrank back to its normal size. His head fell on the Ragnarok arena. Lin Feng also landed on the ground. He was breathing heavily. The battle with Huang Fuqingtian made him feel endless exhaustion. In this battle, his body had almost reached the state of a lamp that had run out of oil. Life and death have been decided. The Ragnarok arena will be opened again. An ancient voice resounded. The light shield that enveloped the Ragnarok arena dissipated. Kill him while he's weak from the battle. In the outer realm, Jiuzhou and heavenly demon realm powerhouses soared into the sky and attacked Lin Feng. This was what those powerhouses had planned for a long time. Whether it was Huang Fuqingtian or Lin Feng who survived to the end, they would attack and strangle the survivors. Because these forces didn't want to see such a monstrous figure alive. There were too many uncertainties in the future for such a person. In addition, the powerhouses of those forces also wanted to kill him and seize his treasures, magical powers, luck, and so on. Humph, I've been guarding against you. Du Zhu, the starry sky beast, the four ancestors of the Temple of Spirit Array Masters, Yuji, Jianyudi, and the others all soared into the sky. The two sides immediately engaged in a fierce battle. However, it was clear that Lin Feng's forces were not as strong as the cultivators from the 9 prefectures, the heavenly demons, and the outer realm. They had run into trouble, and these people would not rest until they killed Lin Feng. The scene instantly became extremely chaotic. Someone intercepted Du Zhu and the others. On the other hand, Gongziyu and more than a dozen God Realm experts charged toward Lin Feng. The situation was very bad. Ha ha! You bastards! Get lost! A burst of laughter could be heard. After hearing this laughter, Lin Feng's originally tense mind immediately relaxed. Boom! A middle-aged man stepped out from the void. It was Yuan Bei Xian. He threw a punch at Gongziyu and the others. Bang! Gongziyu and the other godly state experts were all sent flying. They all coughed up blood in midair. You! Many people were scared out of their wits. What kind of cultivation was this? With a casual punch, he had injured so many god state experts. Let's go! Gongziyu gritted his teeth and flew into the distance. The other god state experts didn't dare to stay and quickly left. A bunch of trash. I don't even want to kill you because it will dirty my hands. Yuan Bei Xian pursed his lips. This uncle was as unrestrained as ever. However, Lin Feng was very happy that Yuan Bei Xian had appeared. He was also very grateful. Yuan Bei Xian must have heard about the 10-year life-or-death battle between him and Huang Fuqingtian. Yuan Bei Xian must have been worried that after the battle, he would be schemed against by Jiuzhou, the heavenly demons, and the alien cultivators. That was probably why he was here. Lin Feng was about to talk to Yuan Bei Xian for a while. Suddenly, a terrifying aura came from afar. A woman in white walked toward the god's arena. An endless amount of deadly energy was moving towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng was shocked. The woman in white was masked, and her figure was very charming. He didn't know who she was, but Lin Feng felt that her strength wasn't any weaker than Ling Wuxuang's. Who was she? Why was she targeting him? Boom! A terrifying aura surged over. The woman in white teleported to Lin Feng's side. She sent a palm strike at Lin Feng. Back off! Yuan Bei Xian shouted and sent Lin Feng flying. He raised his right hand and met the woman's palm strike. Bang! When the two sides collided, Yuan Bei Xian was actually forced back 3 steps by the white-robed woman before he could stop himself. Fine. Someone else will come to deal with you. The woman in white glanced at Lin Feng. She grabbed Huang Fuqingtian's corpse and tore through the void, disappearing without a trace. Who is she? Why is she so terrifying? She took Huang Fuqingtian's corpse. Is she related to Huang Fuqingtian? Lin Feng's expression flickered. Yuan Bei Xian was a peak heavenly god, or even stronger. The fact that the woman in white could force Yuan Bei Xian to retreat showed how terrifying she was. Moreover, she had said that someone else would come to deal with him. Who would come to deal with him? Lin Feng's heart was pounding. The information the woman in white revealed was too limited. We can't stay here any longer. Let's go, Yuan Bei Xian said. Lin Feng nodded and left with Yuan Bei Xian, Du Zhu, and the others. They boarded the ancient ship Xianyuan and left. What was the result of the battle between Uncle and the Palace Master of Heartless? Lin Feng asked. Yuan Bei Xian was lying in the cabin with his legs crossed. He. When we reached the outer realm, I ran, and she chased. I ran for 7 days and 7 nights, and she chased after me for 7 days and 7 nights. In the end, she couldn't catch me and left. Is that even possible? Lin Feng's mouth twitched violently. He had thought that it would be a battle between 2 peak experts. He hadn't expected that it would end in a farce. Lin Feng was indeed surprised. However, when he thought about it carefully, it seemed to make sense. These things were all in line with Yuan Bei Xian's personality. After that, the Sky Martial continent was not peaceful. Huang Fuqingtian had been killed by Lin Feng, and this matter caused a huge uproar. The cultivators of the 9 prefectures, sky demons, and outer realm beings that had attacked Lin Feng left the Sky Martial continent one after another. This was because Lin Feng had a terrifying expert by his side. They were worried that Lin Feng would wait for an opportunity to take revenge. Lin Feng also planned to leave the Sky Martial continent. Now that he had broken through to the God realm, it was time to head to the 9 prefectures. The 9 prefectures, or more accurately, was called the 9 prefectures Great World. It was one of the top 7 great worlds among the 3,000 great worlds. Mysterious, powerful, and ancient. Over there. There was the most ancient inheritance. There was the most mysterious power. There were also some races that had long been extinct in other places. Even Pangu, Niwa, Suiran, Gonggong, Kwa Fu, the 3 sovereigns, the 5 emperors, and other experts. They were all creatures born in the 9 prefectures' great world. Lin Feng still remembered the jade tube his father had left behind. He wanted him to go to the 9 prefectures' great world to find a cultivator called Dugia. He was his father's good friend. His father wanted him to follow him in cultivation. Did this senior Dugia, who he had never met before, know where his mother was being suppressed? Chapter 1613. Kill! Heaven-shaking shouts resounded through the clouds. This was a mysterious small world located in the Blood Province. Now that it had been breached, a great battle broke out. This battle lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. Only then did it stop. Reporting to my lord, everyone inside was killed. A cultivator came to report. Du Zhu nodded and said, Go to the next stronghold. Then Du Zhu led his men and left. This was a stronghold of the Assassin dynasty. The Assassin dynasty had tried to assassinate Lin Feng several times, causing Lin Feng to be greatly infuriated. Now that he was free, he began to investigate the Assassin dynasty. He searched for the Assassin dynasty's strongholds. They launched a counterattack. Lin Feng sent out Du Zhu, the Astral Beast, and the Void Shadow Beast, the three great experts. They led the experts of the country of desire and began to uproot the Assassin dynasty's strongholds. Du Zhu, the Astral Beast, and the Void Shadow Beast were all Divine Fire Realm experts. They personally led experts to do this. Lin Feng was also more at ease. The central province was vast and mysterious. Lin Feng arrived in front of a mountain gate alone. This was the ancestral land of the Geomaster lineage. The Celestial Master lineage and the Geomaster lineage had a deep grudge. This lineage had killed the successors of the Celestial Master lineage many times in history and snatched the inheritance of the Celestial Master lineage. Now, Lin Feng came to the Geomaster lineage to retrieve the inheritance of the Celestial Master lineage that had been snatched away by the Geomaster lineage. For example, the death substitution technique and other top-notch inheritances had all fallen into the hands of the Geomaster lineage. As the successor of the Celestial Master lineage in this generation, Lin Feng naturally had to perfect the Celestial Master lineage's inheritance. Who are you? Stop immediately. Is the mountain gate of the Geomaster lineage something you can barge into? If you dare take another step forward, you will be killed without mercy. More than a dozen mountain guarding disciples looked coldly at Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't say anything. He walked towards the mountain gate of the Geomaster lineage. Those disciples were all sealed in ice. Someone is attacking. It did not take long for the cultivators from the Geomaster branch to be alarmed. They blew their bugle horns and over 1,000 cultivators charged out to surround Lin Feng. He's... Lin Feng! Someone recognized Lin Feng. His voice trembled. He was so scared that his face turned pale. Right now. Who hadn't heard of Lin Feng's name? Everyone's expression changed at the mention of it. After knowing that the person in front of them was Lin Feng, many people were so scared that they collapsed to the ground, their faces pale. I'm here to take the legacy of our Celestial Master, Lin Feng said indifferently. Lin Gongzi. We were all abandoned by the sect. 2 years ago, when the sea route from the Tianwu continent to the 9 continents was opened again, the upper echelons of the sect led the talented disciples away, leaving us to guard the sect. An old man said with a trembling voice. Lin Feng reached out and tapped the old man's head, using the soul-searching technique. Indeed, as the old man had said, these people were all abandoned by the sect. And they were very pitiful abandoned by the sect. They did not have the qualifications to cultivate the legacy of the Celestial Master branch. In fact, the only ones who had the qualifications to cultivate the legacy of the Celestial Master branch were the great elders and the most monstrous of the younger generation. Ordinary elders, deacons, and disciples naturally did not have the qualifications. The reason why these people were pitiful was because before the upper echelons of the Celestial Master branch left, they had made these abandoned disciples swear a blood oath. They had to guard the sect and were not allowed to leave. If they left without permission, their souls would immediately shatter. Their fates were very tragic. They would be imprisoned in this forest for the rest of their lives. Lin Feng left. He did not kill those people. They were just a bunch of abandoned disciples. They were not worth Lin Feng's time. He wanted to deal with the upper echelons of the Celestial Master branch. Since those people had already left, he could only wait until he reached the 9 continents, and see if he could find them. Lin Feng returned to the country of desire. Du Zhu, the Astral Beast, and the Void Shadow Beast were still outside carrying out their mission. On this day, Ning Hanzhuang came to the country of desire. I know you are eradicating the Assassin dynasty. I can tell you where the Assassin dynasty's Saint Palace is, Ning Hanzhuang said. What do you want? Lin Feng asked. Wealth. I want a lot of wealth. I want to go to the 9 continents. That is the holy land for cultivation. I know you have countless wealth here. I want divine artifacts and all kinds of cultivation resources. Ning Hanzhuang said. All these years, Ning Hanzhuang had been working for the assassin dynasty. Now, she wanted to betray them. Loyalty was not worth mentioning in the eyes of many people. Benefits were eternal. That was what they pursued. For benefits, these people could do anything. Ning Hanzhuang was clearly such a person. This woman had deep thoughts and might become a threat in the future. However, Lin Feng did not care. She was just a woman. She could not cause any waves. He satisfied Ning Hanzhuang's request. Ning Hanzhuang told Lin Feng the location of the Assassin Dynasty's Saint Palace. Then, she looked at Lin Feng meaningfully and said, I hope we can meet again in the 9 continents. With that, Ning Hanzhuang left. Like Ning Hanzhuang, there were countless cultivators who left the Sky Martial continent for the 9 continents. Since 2 years ago, the sea route between the 9 continents and the Sky Martial continent had been opened again. Every day, there would be people taking the risk to go to the 9 continents. Even the Great Rock King and the Peacock King of the Demon Clan had left the Sky Martial continent. Originally, Lin Feng had made an agreement with Bai Xingyi, Dao Wuxiu, Xing Tianyang and the others to go to the 9 continents through the Heaven Opening Road. However, the Heaven Opening Road had never appeared. Now, Bai Xingyi and the others were on a ship to the 9 continents. Back then, before the 2 continents were separated, the Sky Martial continent was only one of the continents in the 9 continents world. Furthermore, it was very difficult for the Sky Martial continent to absorb the power of destiny. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for cultivators to break through to the divine realm. Therefore, it was normal for many cultivators to head to the 9 continents. After Du Zhu, the giant starry sky beast, and the void shadow beast returned. Lin Feng led them and 10,000 experts of the Raging Flame Corps. They boarded the ancient starship Xianyuan and charged toward the Assassin Temple. The Assassin Temple was located in the Yu Prefecture. This prefecture was very special. Throughout the year, there was no sunlight, and it was always drizzling. The small world where the Assassin Temple was located in the depths of a primitive forest in the northwest of the Yu Prefecture. The ancient starship Xianyuan launched a strong attack on this small world. It tore open the entrance of this small world and charged into it. Kill! Deafening battle cries could be heard. Lin Feng led Du Zhu, the giant starry sky beast, the void shadow beast, and the Raging Flame Corps out of the ancient starship Xianyuan and engaged in a fierce battle with the assassins of the Assassin Temple. 3 toxic doppelgangers. Deity doppelgangers. All of them were summoned by Lin Feng. The Assassin Temple had many experts. However, compared to Lin Feng, the difference was too great. The experts of the Assassin Temple fell one after another. Blood flowed like a river. Do the heavens want my assassin dynasty to perish? An old assassin howled in grief. Wielding a cold sword, he stabbed toward Lin Feng. Have you ever thought about the innocent people you killed? For the sake of profit, you assassins are unscrupulous. Today, it's not the heavens that want you dead, but I want to destroy your assassin dynasty. Lin Feng sneered and charged forward, killing the old assassin with a single palm strike. In the end, the surviving assassins of the Assassin dynasty retreated to the front of the Assassin Temple. This was a palace made of white bones. It covered over 10 acres of land and was 300 meters tall. It emitted a sinister aura. When Lin Feng saw the palace, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. Such a huge palace made of white bones. Who knew how many people had to be killed to build it? Chapter 16:14. The Assassin Dynasty's temple was built from the bones of the gods. It's said that there's even a throne made from the bones of a quasi-emperor. Someone in the Raging Flame Corps whispered. Now that they saw this temple of bones, they couldn't help but feel their hair stand on end. Such a huge temple of bones was breathtaking. Kill! Lin Feng pulled out his sword and shouted. The Raging Flame Corps began to charge towards the assassins of the Assassin dynasty. The most tragic battle between the two sides broke out. In front of the Temple of Bones, corpses were piled up like mountains. Kill! 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 Many old assassins' eyes were bloodshot. Their roars shook the sky as they charged towards the raging flame core. They chose to self-destruct. They chose to end their lives in this way. Before they died, they dragged many cultivators of the raging flame core down with them. Damn it! These people have been forced into a corner. Quickly retreat and let me deal with them! Duzu roared. The cultivators of the raging flame core quickly retreated. As for the poison ancestor, he flew into the air. Inside his body, endless poisonous fog was churning. Duzu released the deadly poison. He killed the assassins with poison. There were still more than 300 people in the assassin dynasty. Although there weren't many left. They were all experts. If these experts all chose to self-destruct, the raging flame core would inevitably suffer heavy casualties. Duzu released the deadly poison. It was an excellent method. When the assassins were enveloped by the poison, immediately he let out an incomparably shrill scream. The assassins with weaker cultivation were directly poisoned to death. Although the assassins with stronger cultivation were not directly poisoned to death, their skins started to fester. After the poison entered their bodies, their combat strength sharply decreased. Quickly take the antidote! An old assassin sternly shouted. The assassins of the assassin dynasty carried all kinds of pills with them. Naturally, they also had antidotes. They quickly took the antidote. But how could Duzu's poison be so easily neutralized? After these assassins took the antidote, it was only temporarily suppressed. They couldn't really neutralize Duzu's poison. Kill these assassins! Lin Feng shouted in a deep voice. Yes. Immediately, the cultivators of the raging flame core took out giant bows and arrows. Whoosh 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 whoosh, a dense rain of arrows was shot towards the assassins of the assassin dynasty. Puff! Puff! Ripping sounds could be heard. The assassins of the assassin dynasty. They were all shot to death. It did not take long for the corpses to fall to the ground. Why is this happening? My assassin dynasty has stood tall for millions of years, but now, we're facing a calamity. Some of the older assassins found it hard to accept, and shouted sorrowfully. It's you! It's all your fault! Lin Feng! You little bastard! You want to destroy our assassin dynasty. Even if we have to risk our lives, we'll make sure you die a horrible death. More than 20 high-level assassin dynasties' faces were distorted as they all pounced on Lin Feng. Lin Feng sneered and said, The assassin dynasty, this evil organization, should not exist. Which one of you is not covered with the blood of countless innocent people? Today, I'm killing you on behalf of the heavens. Lin Feng leaped out and rushed into the crowd. He fought with a group of assassins. Puff! Puff! The assassin dynasty's high-level assassin strength was far inferior to Lin Feng's, and now they were poisoned. Their battle strength was greatly weakened. They could not resist Lin Feng's attacks at all. It did not take long for more than 20 high-level assassin dynasty's high-level assassin dynasty to be killed by Lin Feng. As for the ordinary assassins, with the cooperation of Duzu and the Raging Flame Core, they were all killed. At this point, the assassins of the Assassin Temple were completely annihilated. Clean up the battlefield. Raging Flame Core, return to the ancient starship Xianyuan and wait for orders. Duzu, Astral Beast, Void Shadow Beast, the three of you come with me to the main hall to take a look. Lin Feng said. Yes. Everyone answered in unison. The Raging Flame Core began to clean up the battlefield. Lin Feng, Duzu, Astral Beast, and Void Shadow Beast arrived in front of the main hall. They worked together to open the main hall. A gloomy aura was emitted from the main hall. The four of them entered the main hall. Duzu muttered, This Assassin Dynasty's temple must contain the precious treasures collected by the Assassin Dynasty over the years, right? If we can find the treasury, we'll be rich. Lin Feng nodded and said, I think so too. It's very likely that the treasures collected by the Assassin dynasty are stored here. Let's split up and search. Then, the four of them separated. The main hall was divided into numerous rooms. Many of the rooms had restrictions placed on them. Lin Feng broke the restriction on one of the rooms. In this room, there were piles of array formation materials. Seeing the mountain of array formation materials, Lin Feng could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Haha, the wealth of the Assassin dynasty really is stored here. Lin Feng smiled. One by one, the treasuries were opened. There were a total of 364 treasuries. There were all kinds of treasures. For example, precious array formation materials, pills, spiritual herbs, spiritual fruits, artifacts on the level of divine tools, divine stones, immortal iron, origin crystals, and so on and so forth. This wealth was simply incalculable. After all, the wealth of the Assassin dynasty was something that many ancient families could not compare to. And now, all of this wealth was stored in Lin Feng's mountain river ring. This time, the Assassin dynasty was annihilated. Du Zhu, giant astral beast. The void shadow beast contribution was indispensable. Lin Feng naturally would not be stingy. Everyone was rewarded with 3 divine tools. As for the other rewards, such as all kinds of spiritual herbs, spiritual fruits, and pills, there were even more. In addition, Lin Feng planned to reward the cultivators of the Raging Flame Core who participated in the annihilation of the Assassin dynasty after returning to the Country of Desire. There's still one last hall that hasn't been opened, Du Zhu said and pointed to the depths. This should be the core hall of the Assassin dynasty, right? Open it and take a look, Lin Feng said. Du Zhu and the other 2 walked forward and opened the door. A spacious hall appeared in their line of sight. This hall was paved with the bones of gods and demons. The aura was gloomy. In the depths of the hall, there was a white bone throne. It seemed to be the rumored white bone throne made from the bones of quasi-emperors. But what really attracted Lin Feng was the stone coffin placed in the center of the hall. Why was there a stone coffin in the core hall of the Assassin dynasty? This made Lin Feng extremely puzzled. He and Du Zhu entered the hall and walked towards the stone coffin. Lin Feng motioned for Du Zhu and the others to open the stone coffin. Rumble! The stone coffin was pushed open. The 4 of them looked into the stone coffin. A woman! What a beautiful woman! After seeing the woman lying in the stone coffin, Lin Feng could not help but be shocked. This was a woman so beautiful that it was suffocating. She's already dead? Lin Feng frowned slightly. He did not feel any aura from this woman. He was just about to check the woman's condition. Suddenly, the woman who originally had no aura opened her eyes. The moment she opened her eyes, the entire hall became dark and icy cold. Lin Feng felt a terrifying power from the woman's body that was awakening. It was as if a death god from hell had awakened from a deep slumber. Chapter 16-15. Retreat! Lin Feng shouted in a deep voice. This woman's aura was too terrifying, causing him to turn pale with fright. Du Zhu, the astral behemoth, the void shadow beast, and Lin Feng all retreated, looking at the woman with serious expressions. The woman's body floated out of the coffin into the air. After opening her eyes, she looked at her body, seeming to be at a loss. Who am I? The woman muttered. Did she lose her memories? Lin Feng immediately muttered. This was too strange, wasn't it? The fact that there was a coffin in the Assassin Temple's core hall was already strange enough. There was a woman in the coffin. More and more strange. And this woman. She was actually a woman who had lost her memories. There were strange places everywhere. Why can't I remember who I am? The woman muttered to herself. She stroked her beautiful face and looked at her hands and body. Her gaze became even more confused. You're my young master's wife. Du Zhu grinned. Lin Feng immediately rolled his eyes. What the hell was going on? This woman's origins were unknown, and her cultivation was extremely terrifying. What if she took Du Zu's words seriously and insisted on following him? She would regain her memories in the future. She knew she had been tricked. Would she kill him with a slap? Just thinking about it was terrifying. I'm your young master's wife? Who is your young master? Why can't I remember? The woman looked at Du Zu suspiciously. This? Du Zu pointed at Lin Feng and said, Look at you two, you're practically a match made in heaven. Are you my husband? She asked. The woman looked at Lin Feng. Cough, cough. Lin Feng coughed violently and said, This guy is just joking with you. Don't take it seriously. Suddenly, the woman's gaze turned cold. In an instant, the entire hall seemed to have turned into a world of ice. The woman coldly swept her gaze over Lin Feng's group. Were you lying to me? Her voice did not contain a trace of emotion. Giant? The giant god? Lin Feng couldn't help but gulp. This woman's aura was even stronger than Palace Mistress Ling Wuxuang. This was too terrifying. Du Zu was also trembling with fear. If this were the primordial era, Du Zu naturally wouldn't be afraid of this giant goddess. But now was not the time. Right now, Du Zu's cultivation was only at the divine fire realm. A gigantic female god like her could kill him 100 times with a single slap. At this moment, Du Zu knew that the joke had gone too far. This was not something that anyone could joke about. Honey, don't be like this. Your husband was just joking with you, don't be angry. Lin Feng wanted to cry but had no tears. Regardless of whether or not this woman would slap him to death after she regained her memories. If this woman were to think that they had deceived her, she would definitely be taken aback. He was probably going to die soon. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Li Yihong nodded. Only then did the giant goddess's ice-cold killing intent fade away. She frowned slightly and asked, Why am I sleeping in a coffin? Lin Feng howled inwardly. Beauty, I also want to know why you're sleeping in a coffin. Du Zu grinned and said, Maybe it's a personal hobby. The astral beast and the void shadow beast couldn't stand Du Zu any longer. They pulled him to a corner and started punching and kicking him. Lin Feng said in a serious tone, It's like this, you were injured in the past, and this place has a lot of baleful energy. Putting you in here will help you recover, so I put you in the coffin. I can see that your face is still a bit pale, so you definitely haven't fully recovered. Continue lying in there and sleep for a while. Your husband will come and get you after a while. The woman frowned slightly and said, But I feel like I've fully recovered. Husband, let's go. I don't like this place. Lin Feng had a helpless expression on his face. This woman was definitely going to be a big problem. How could he take her away? He couldn't shake her off even if he wanted to. However, he didn't dare to say that he wouldn't take her away. What if he didn't take her away? What if she thought that he was playing with her feelings? Wouldn't he be slapped to death by her? Lin Feng smiled bitterly and said, All right, let's go home. Lin Feng turned around and glared fiercely at Du Zu. If this guy hadn't spouted nonsense, he wouldn't have provoked this woman. The poison ancestor acted as if he hadn't seen anything, turned around, and took the lead to run out. The woman flew down and stretched out her right hand. What's this for? Lin Feng asked. The woman said, You're my husband. Shouldn't you be holding my hand? Lin Feng muttered inwardly, I'm not trying to take advantage of you. You're just letting me take advantage of you. Lin Feng grabbed the woman's slender hand. It's so cold. Lin Feng was shocked. The woman's hand was too cold. It was so cold. It was very strange. It was as cold as ice and piercing to the bone. A human body. It was probably too hot. However, this woman's body was so cold. This made Lin Feng feel very strange. Could it be that she wasn't human? Was she from another race? This was the only reason why the woman's hand was so cold. Husband, I've forgotten my name. I've also forgotten your name. Are you angry with me? The woman asked. Looking at her pitiful and aggrieved expression, Gu Nianji thought to herself. Lin Feng muttered in his heart. Was this beautiful woman really the terrifying existence that he and Du Zhu couldn't stand with her killing intent? Lin Feng patiently explained. My name is Lin Feng. You're Yaoguang, Feng Yaoguang. So my name is Feng Yaoguang? That's a nice name. A smile appeared on the woman's face. She was born extremely beautiful. Before this, she had always been expressionless. Now she was smiling. She was so beautiful that it was suffocating. Lin Feng couldn't help but stare blankly. The woman blushed slightly and couldn't help but feel a little shy. Only then did Lin Feng come back to his senses. He secretly warned himself not to do anything out of line. Even if this woman was more beautiful than the legendary fairy Chang'e, he couldn't have any ideas about her. Unless he was tired of living. If he really took advantage of her, when she recovered her memories in the future, he would be in trouble. Lin Feng held her hand and walked out of the hall. The corpses of the dead cultivators had been disposed of. But even so, the smell of blood was extremely strong. The ground was dyed red with blood. The woman said, I seem to know this place. I seem to have lived here for a period of time. After hearing her words, Lin Feng's hand that was holding the woman's lily-white hand suddenly trembled. This woman couldn't be from the Assassin dynasty, right? Thinking about it carefully, it seemed like it was really possible. Thinking of this, Lin Feng's face almost turned green. Husband, why is your expression so ugly? The woman asked. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. I felt uncomfortable for a while, but I'm much better now. Let's board the ship and leave this place. He held the woman's lily-white hand and flew towards the ancient voyage ship, Xianyuan. Chapter 16:16. Greetings, madam. As soon as they returned to the Xianyuan, Du Zhu led the raging flame core cultivators to greet Feng Yaoguang. Feng Yaoguang blushed slightly and said, Everyone will be rewarded. She waved her right hand, and a river of origin crystals flew out. There were at least 1,000,000 of them. What the? Lin Feng was shocked when he saw the river of origin crystals. He had emptied the Assassin dynasty's treasury. The Assassin dynasty had only accumulated 20 million origin crystals over hundreds of millions of years. Yet, Feng Yaoguang had casually taken out 1,000,000 origin crystals to reward Du Zhu and the others. He wondered how much wealth this cheap wife he had picked up actually had. Of course, Lin Feng wouldn't covet her wealth. Lin Feng was also rich enough. Thank you, madam. The poison ancestor grinned from ear to ear as he hurriedly kept the origin crystal. The raging flame core cultivators were also overjoyed. They were rewarded with 1,000,000 origin crystals just for a greeting. This was a pie that had fallen from the sky. Lin Feng and Feng Yaoguang returned to the cabin. The Xianyuan started up and flew towards the Kingdom of Desire. Lin Feng arranged for Feng Yaoguang to rest in a room for the time being. He then headed outside. Feng Yaoguang asked, What are you going to do, husband? Lin Feng replied, I have some things to tell them. Then I'll wait for you to return. Feng Yaoguang said. Lin Feng muttered to himself, Wait for me to return. Do you want to sleep on the same bed as me? Don't tempt me like this, okay? You're a great beauty. What if we sleep on the same bed and I can't control myself and make a mistake? All right, you rest first. I'll be back when I'm done. Lin Feng nodded and headed outside. He found the astral beast and whispered, Go back and tell Shangguan Fair and the others about her. Don't let anything happen. The astral beast nodded. Feng Yaoguang was too terrifying. He had to be careful when dealing with her. Otherwise, everyone would be in trouble. The giant star beast left in advance. At the same time, the ancient starship Xianyuan also slowed down slightly. Lin Feng didn't go to Feng Yaoguang's room. Instead, he returned to his own room. A man and a woman alone in a room, what if something went wrong? Lin Feng's restraint towards women had always been weak. Late at night, Lin Feng felt the bed move slightly. He opened his eyes and saw Feng Yaoguang crawling under the covers. Lin Feng was so shocked that he almost jumped up. Feng Yaoguang said, Hubby, hug me to sleep. Lin Feng said. That's not very good, is it? You are my husband. What's wrong with hugging me to sleep? Feng Yaoguang asked doubtfully. Lin Feng was left speechless by Feng Yaoguang's question. He reached out and hugged Feng Yao's sexy body. His hands were trembling slightly. Worry, nervousness, excitement, all kinds of feelings attacked him. Today, yours truly slept with a female giant god? Hubby, why is your cultivation so weak? Feng Yaoguang asked curiously as she lay in Lin Feng's arms. Lin Feng wasn't weak, of course. However, compared to Feng Yaoguang, he was indeed too weak. He said, My cultivation will increase in the future. Feng Yaoguang nodded and shrank into Lin Feng's arms. That night was hard on Lin Feng. Hugging a beauty like Feng Yaoguang, he didn't dare to do anything too overboard. Happiness and pain coexisted. Feng Yaoguang slept very soundly that night. She even had a smile on her face. Perhaps she was dreaming of something happy. The ancient starship Xianyuan flew for 10 days before returning to the country of desire. After returning, Lin Feng arranged for Feng Yaoguang to stay in a courtyard that he had prepared beforehand. Apart from the servants, only Lin Feng was here. Lin Feng didn't dare to arrange for Feng Yaoguang to meet with Shangguan Feier and the others. If Feng Yaoguang knew that he had so many women, would she kill him? Of course, Lin Feng was most worried that Feng Yaoguang would harm Shangguan Feier and the others. Once a woman got jealous, it was very scary. Lin Feng also began to prepare for his trip to the 9 states continent. Lin Feng didn't have a nautical chart, but he could take another ship there. In the Eastern Sea, there were many huge ships that were said to be from the 9 States Alliance. The 9 States Alliance was the largest trading company in the 9 States continent. It was said that there were more than 10 ancient powers behind them. Thus, the 9 States Alliance was very powerful. Once the sea route between the 9 States continent and the Tianwu continent was opened again, the 9 States Alliance began to send out huge ships. The cultivators of the Tianwu continent could take the 9 States Alliance's ships to travel to the 9 States continent. Of course, the extraterrestrial beings, heavenly demons, and other powers' cultivators had also arrived at the Tianwu continent and boarded the 9 States Alliance's ships to travel to the 9 States continent. This was because the 9 States continent's extraterrestrial world was protected by the Emperor's inscriptions. Those were the Emperor's inscriptions. If one wanted to travel to the 9 States continent from the extraterrestrial domain, they would be attacked by the Emperor's inscriptions. Even heavenly gods and giant gods couldn't resist the Emperor's inscriptions. Thus, if one wanted to travel to the 9 States continent, they had to set off from the Tianwu continent. That night, Lin Feng realized that Feng Yaoguang, who was sleeping beside him, had disappeared. He got up and went outside. He saw Feng Yaoguang standing in the courtyard. Lin Feng had been with Feng Yaoguang for more than a month. Perhaps Feng Yaoguang really thought that Lin Feng was her husband, so she was very obedient and gentle to Lin Feng. It was just that when it came to others, it would always have a cold look on its face. Lin Feng realized that he was starting to like this woman. Occasionally, he would have some intimate actions with Feng Yaoguang. For example, last night, something rather intense had happened. Feng Yaoguang was just one step away from becoming a young married woman. At the last moment, she pushed Lin Feng away. Why are you up? Lin Feng hugged Feng Yaoguang from behind and pulled her into his embrace. I'm thinking about something, Feng Yaoguang said. What are you thinking about? Lin Feng asked. Feng Yaoguang turned around and hugged Lin Feng. She snuggled into his embrace and said, I can't remember clearly. It's a blur. Then don't think about it. Let's go into the house and do something special. Lin Feng carried Feng Yaoguang up. Thinking about the unbearable scene last night, Feng Yaoguang's face flushed red. She buried her head in Lin Feng's embrace and didn't dare to come out. The next day, when the sun was high up in the sky, Lin Feng woke up and found that Feng Yaoguang was not there. There was a piece of paper on the table. On it was Feng Yaoguang's beautiful handwriting. Husband, Yaoguang vaguely heard a voice, as if calling Yaoguang to a place. However, the road ahead was vast, and she didn't know when she would be able to find that place. Yao Guang felt that that place was very important to Yao Guang. Thus, she left without saying goodbye. I hope my husband won't be angry with Yao Guang. When Yao Guang comes back, I'll let my husband punish me. Wife Yao Guang. Seeing this message, Lin Feng sighed. Back then, he had hoped that Feng Yaoguang would leave as soon as possible. Now, Feng Yaoguang had really left. On the contrary, he was a little reluctant. Chapter 16-17. The Far North. The Palace of Cold Blood. Lin Wuxiang looked at her sister, Lin Wuxin, who was imprisoned in the ice dungeon. She said, How long are you going to fight against your sister for a man? I'm not fighting against my sister, Lin Wuxin said. The old woman said, Third young miss, you should tell him. Don't hurt the relationship between the two sisters. Right now, the third young miss is the only relative of the second young miss. Everything the second young miss has done is for the third young miss' sake. Yet, the third young miss is going against the second young miss. Does the third young miss want to see the second young miss sad? Ling Wuxin sighed and remained silent for a long time. She looked at Ling Wuxiang and asked, Why did you establish the Palace of Cold Blood? Ling Wuxiang clenched her fists, and her eyes turned cold. She calmed herself down and said, Of course it's because of my sister. Lin Wuxin said, I know that you're really good to me, but I also want to have my own life. Lin Wuxiang said, You're making me very sad. I'm not trying to control your life. Everything I do is for your own good. I'm just worried that you'll be deceived by a man. Second sister, as a person, you have to experience something different in your life, right? Even if the future won't be good, you won't regret it as long as you've experienced it. Lin Wuxin said. Won't regret it? You're speaking too soon. What do you think a wonderful life is? Fooling around with that man, and then letting that man play with your body wantonly? Then, when he's tired of you, he'll abandon you? Believe me, if you pursue your so-called life, you'll definitely end up like that. Lin Wuxiang said. Lin Wuxin said, Sister, you're too extreme. You're really too extreme. You think all men are so bad. I even feel that there's something hidden about my sister's death. After all, I was only 3 years old when she died. You were the one who told me everything about her. Ling Wuxiang's eyes twitched violently, and she said angrily, You dare to doubt your own sister? You're doubting your own sister because of an outsider? It's all because of that man. He bewitched you and made us sisters fall apart. Do you really think I don't know who that man is? I've already found some clues. He's Yuan Beishuan's friend, right? His name is Lin Feng, and he had a duel with Huangfu Qingtian some time ago. He killed Huangfu Qingtian in the God's Arena. I know him, he's the master behind the Country of Desire, the leader of the East Seas Cultivator Army. Ling Wuxin's expression changed abruptly after hearing Ling Wuxiang's words. Lin Wuxiang said, What? Are you surprised? Isn't it easy for me to investigate someone? Now, do you think I should immediately go to the Eastern Sea and kill him? Or should I capture him and let you see him before killing him? Ling Wuxin's face turned pale. She knew her sister too well. Vicious and merciless. There was nothing she couldn't do. Sister! Let him go! I'll promise you anything! Ling Wuxin pleaded. Oh? Promise me anything? Take this pill and I'll let him go. Ling Wuxiang took out a pill and handed it to Ling Wuxin. Ling Wuxin didn't even think about it, and swallowed the pill. Next, her body started to twitch. She couldn't even stand up and curled up on the ground. Not long after, her body started to tremble violently due to the intense pain. Don't you want to ask what pill this is? Ling Wuxiang asked Ling Wuxin, who was twitching and trembling all over. Ling Wuxin stuttered. I only hope that sister will keep your word. Don't make things difficult for him. Ling Wuxiang chuckled and said, Of course I keep my word. She paused for a moment before continuing. This pill is called the heart-devouring pill. It's a type of goo pill that's concocted using goo refinement techniques. After consuming it, you'll be inflicted with the heart-devouring goo. The heart-devouring goo will cause you to go from loving someone to hating someone. You'll hate Lin Feng more and more until you want to cut him into pieces. At that time, I won't have to do anything. You'll kill him yourself. Sister, how can you do this to me? Ling Wuxin looked at Leng Wuxuang in fear. My good sister, everything I've done is for your own good. In the future you'll thank me. You can slowly enjoy the taste of the heart-devouring goo. I won't disturb you anymore. Leng Wuxuang smiled. With a wave of her right hand, she tore open the space where the ice prison was and left with the old woman. They returned to the main hall. Leng Wuxuang said, Grandma, I'm going into closed-door cultivation. This closed-door cultivation. If everything goes smoothly, I won't have to sleep for 100,000 years anymore. When the heart-devouring goo's medicinal effects are fully unleashed, let third sister out. She'll go look for Lin Feng. Even if he's at the ends of the earth, she'll rely on the heart-devouring goo's senses to find him. Then, she'll use the sharpest dagger to dig out his heart. Yes, second miss. The old woman bowed. During this period of time, Lin Feng was busy dealing with a lot of things. First, he went to the Spirit Array Master Temple to catch up with the Vice Hall Masters and more than 200 great elders of the Spirit Array Master Temple. Now that he was one of the 4 successors of the Spirit Array Master Temple, Lin Feng no longer put him in his eyes. Therefore, he let Wang Tianyao take over his position. Wang Tianyao's father was one of the 12 Vice Hall Masters, Vice Hall Master Wang Yangzi. He was also one of the first 4 Vice Hall Masters to join Lin Feng. Wang Tianyao was young and strong. His ability was also very outstanding, so Lin Feng was very assured that he would take over his position. This time, Lin Feng did not see the 4 ancestors when he returned to the Spirit Array Master Temple, because the 4 ancestors had already boarded the 9 States Alliance's ancient ship and left for the 9 States continent. After Lin Feng left the Spirit Array Master Temple, he went to many places. He wanted to take a good look at the Sky Martial continent before he left. This time, he left the Sky Martial continent. He didn't know when he would come back next time. 3 months later, Lin Feng returned to the country of Desire. For this trip to the 9 States continent, Lin Feng planned to only bring Du Zhu and the Void Shadow Beast with him for the time being. He let the Starry Sky Beast stay in the Sky Martial continent, and let him continue to preside over the construction of the temple. As for Shangguan Fair and the others, they naturally had to stay in the Sky Martial continent. For Lin Feng, this trip to the 9 States continent was an unknown matter, and his future was uncertain. Therefore, at the very least, he had to establish himself in the 9 States continent before he could bring Shangguan Fair and the others to the 9 States continent. Parting would eventually come, but Lin Feng did not let anyone send him off. He, Du Zhu, and the Void Shadow Beast set off for the number 1 cultivator gathering area in the Eastern Sea. That was the place where the 9 States Alliance's giant ship docked. From there, they would need to take a ship to leave the Sky Martial continent, cross the Endless Sea, and head to the 9 States continent. P.S. The content of the Sky Martial continent has ended, and the next step is to open a new world. Lin Feng waved his sword and roared, robbing everyone of their monthly votes, rewards, recommendation tickets. If it's a girl, then I'll rape. Chapter 16-18. Lin Feng didn't want to draw attention to himself, so he pretended to be a scholar. Du Zhu and the Void Shadow Beast also changed their appearances. They turned into 2 followers. The number 1 cultivator gathering area was now under the control of the Nation of Desire. Now, the Eastern Sea had become lively again. It even had the intention of becoming the center of the Tianwu continent. The reason was naturally because the sea route between the 9 States continent and the Tianwu continent was reopened. The endless sea that connected the 2 continents was located in the Eastern Sea. Therefore, it was natural for the Eastern Sea to become prosperous. Lin Feng saw the 9 States Alliance's fleet from afar. Each giant ship was about 10,000 meters long and 4,500 meters tall. They were extremely huge. The ships were also equipped with a dense number of spirit stone cannons. Moreover, the ships were densely covered with formation runes. Their defense was also very shocking. Even if they encountered a giant beast in the sea, they would not be afraid at all. They could fight with it. There were a total of 10 ships in the fleet. Now, countless cultivators had boarded the ships. Lin Feng saw many extraterrestrial beings and even demons. These extraterrestrial races and forces had all landed on the Tianwu continent. Then they took the ships from the Tianwu continent to the Nine States continent. Countless people yearned to go to the Nine States continent. After all, it was one of the top 7 worlds in the 3,000 great worlds. It was also the world that gave birth to Pangu, Niwa, the 3 sovereigns, 5 emperors, and other experts. Lin Feng, Du Zhu, and the Void Shadow Beast boarded the ship. "Young master, we have all kinds of services on the ship, including standing tickets, sitting tickets, hard berths, soft berths, double rooms, single rooms, ordinary VIP rooms, bronze VIP rooms, silver VIP rooms, gold VIP rooms, purple VIP rooms, and supreme suites. May I know which service you would like?" A beautiful female attendant came over and said with a smile. Lin Feng was speechless. This 9 regions alliance was indeed worthy of being called the largest and best merchant alliance in the 9 regions. It was a voyage on the sea. They actually divided the services so carefully. Lin Feng could not help but admire the business acumen of the 9 States Alliance's higher-ups. "Supreme suites." Lin Feng smiled. A pleasantly surprised expression appeared on the female deacon's face. She could earn quite a bit of commission from selling a supreme suite. The female deacon smiled and said, "Please come with me, sir." Lin Feng nodded and followed behind the female deacon. "Sir, the supreme suite is on the 888th floor. Please come with me to the airship." "We need to fly up," said Lin Feng. The female deacon walked to the side of an airship. This kind of airship could accommodate about 6 to 7 people. It was covered with array patterns and was very convenient. Lin Feng nodded and boarded the airship with Du Zhu and the Void Shadow Beast. The female deacon controlled the airship and arrived at the 888th floor. The airship docked on the deck outside the 888th floor. The 4 of them got off the airship, and the female deacon brought Lin Feng and the other 2 to a private room. She opened the door to the room with a token. The VIP room was very luxurious. After entering, the first thing that came into view was a huge living room. In the living room, there was some high-end furniture. Even the carpet was made of white tiger skin. As for the sofa, it was wrapped in the skin of a deity realm beast. In addition to the luxurious decorations, the VIP room also had a training room, an alchemist room, a spirit array master room, a refining room, a bathroom, and more than 10 other rooms. In addition, there were 9 resting rooms. The entire journey to the VIP room costs 1,999 origin crystals. We support cash and card payment. Which method would you like to use? The female deacon smiled. The card payment that the female deacon was talking about was the origin crystal card. This was basically the same as the crystal cards of the Tianwu continent. They were all little things that spirit array masters invented and could be used in real life. Through the array patterns, one could enter the amount of money. Through the array patterns, one could also swipe the amount of money. It was very convenient. However, the crystal cards of the Tianwu continent stored spirit stones. On the other hand, the 9 region source crystal cards stored source crystals. Lin Feng did not have a spirit crystal card, so he paid 1,999 origin crystals. These 3 tokens are the tokens to open the room. If you have any requests, you can use these tokens to contact me. As long as you speak into the token, the information will be transmitted to me," the female deacon said. It was obvious that she was wearing a token that could be sensed. Lin Feng nodded and said, "No problem. Then I won't disturb your rest." The female deacon immediately left. After the female deacon left, Du Zhu laughed strangely and said, That female deacon's figure is not bad, and she is also quite beautiful. The journey is long, and it is inevitable that she will be lonely. You can go and seduce her. With your charm, I think it will be easy for you to get your hands on her. Don't worry, when the time comes, the two of us will book another room and won't disturb you and that female deacon. Lin Feng kicked Du Zhu 4 or 5 meters away and said unhappily, It's fine if you want to be vulgar, but don't drag me into it. Lin Feng went into the master bedroom to rest. Du Zhu said to the Void Umbra Beast, It will take a few days before the ship departs. How about we go to the island and enjoy ourselves? Du Zhu was very interested in women. He often went to flirt with women. Now they were about to go on a long journey. If they were slow, it would take more than a year. If they were slow, it would take several years. They would have to spend it at sea. The poison ancestor wanted to indulge himself to his heart's content before leaving. However, it was obvious that he had found the wrong person to fool around with. The Void Umbra Beast said coldly, Not interested. I want to stay and protect you. Does the young master need your protection? He should be the one protecting you, right? You really don't understand. If you don't want to go, I'll go myself. Du Zhu muttered, then got off the ship and headed to the island's brothels to find beautiful girls to indulge himself. He boarded that ship. More than 10 cultivators, both men and women, stood at the harbor and pointed at the ship that Lin Feng had boarded. These people were led by a beautiful woman. She had a voluptuous figure, long legs, and a pair of voluptuous breasts. The clothes on her upper body looked like they were about to burst. Her voluptuous figure was extremely provocative. The beautiful woman was wearing a veil, so her appearance could not be seen clearly. However, one could tell from her figure. She was a beautiful woman. She was definitely the best of the best. Get on the ship. Don't alert the enemy for now, the beautiful woman said. Her voice was gentle and pleasant to the ears, and it could melt one's bones. Yes. The group replied, and more than 10 people boarded the ship. 5 days later, the sound of a bugle horn resounded through the clouds. The ship started moving. 10 huge ancient ships formed a row and sailed away from the harbor. They sailed in the direction of the endless sea. Chapter 16-19. The boundless sea region was extremely dangerous. There were powerful restrictions everywhere, and danger lurked in every direction. The slightest carelessness would result in death. For cultivators, a place like the Endless Sea domain was almost a forbidden area. Entering it was almost certain death. It was said that the reason the Endless Sea was so terrifying was because it had been a battlefield for gods in the past. Too many experts had died there. The shattered laws of countless experts had changed the laws of heaven and earth in the Endless Sea. Now, the 10 ships had entered the Endless Sea. The ships activated their defensive barriers. When the powerful fragmentation law floating in the Endless Sea bombarded the giant ship, it did not cause any damage to the ship. All of the attacks were blocked. They were all blocked by the ships. Many people stood on the deck and observed the situation. They couldn't help but sigh in amazement. The ship's defensive power was too shocking. Even the destructive restrictions of the Endless Sea were unable to break through the ship's defenses. Now, everyone was able to relax. The Void Shadow Beast laughed strangely. About 30,000 years ago, I came to the Tianwu continent and entered the Endless Sea. The most dangerous thing about this place isn't the restrictions. Lin Feng looked at the Void Shadow Beast in astonishment. You came to the Tianwu continent? 30,000 years ago? Wasn't that during the Middle Ages? The Void Shadow Beast nodded. That's right. At that time, the celestial devils invaded the Martial Heaven continent because they wanted to go to the 9 provinces' great world through the Martial Heaven continent. However, the celestial devils were greedy, and not only did they want to use the Martial Heaven continent as a springboard, they also wanted to enslave the Martial Heaven continent. As a result, the Martial Heaven continent's cultivators counterattacked. At that time, some of the 8 heroes of the Middle Ages led the martial heaven continent's cultivators in a desperate counterattack and defeated the celestial devils. At that time, some of the celestial devils escaped into the endless sea, and I followed them. Duzu asked. What did you see? In the water. The void shadow beast pointed at the turbulent sea. Some terrifying corpses will appear. Corpses of gods? Demonic corpses? Lin Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. It's not that simple. There are some strange creatures that aren't from the outer realms. Even I haven't seen them before. Those monsters are ugly, evil, and terrifying. The void shadow beast said aloud. Lin Feng and Du Zhu looked at each other. When they heard the void shadow beast's words, the first thing that came to their minds was outer realms. The outer realms' characteristics were exactly the same as what the void shadow beast had said. Not only were they strange, the most important thing was that the evil aura seemed to come from the soul. If they were really creatures from the other world, then the great war that had happened in the endless sea before was not a simple battle between gods. It might very well be a great battle against the foreign creatures. But, after the passage of countless years, ordinary cultivators, even God realm cultivators, did not know much about the foreign cultivators. Lin Feng had only learned about the terrifying cultivators of the other world by chance. It was precisely because he understood the foreign cultivators that he knew just how terrifying they were. Of course, since the Nine States Alliance's fleet could sail smoothly, it meant that the Nine States Alliance's fleet could withstand the attacks of the corpses. About 10 days later, the giant ship actually swayed a little. Everyone was alarmed. Did we hit a reef? Many people rushed out. Soon, everyone rushed to the deck and looked at the sea. Suddenly, many people felt their hair stand on end. Because the sea was densely packed with corpses. Those corpses. No one knew how many there were. Each of the corpses gave off an aura like that of the netherworld. The densely packed corpses kept attacking the giant ship. Corpses of gods! Demonic corpses! Heavens, how many gods and demons have died! Many people cried out in horror. The scene in front of them was too terrifying. What kind of corpse is that? Suddenly, someone pointed at a monster. The creature was green in color. It was covered in scales, and there were silver-white bone spurs on its back. There were a total of 36 bone spurs. The creature was 20 meters long, and it quickly rushed toward the giant ship. Waves of evil energy were emitted from the creature's body and bombarded the giant ship. With every attack, the ship's restrictions were about to break. From this, one could see how terrifying the creature's attacks were. Fortunately, the giant ship had self-repairing runes. Otherwise, the defensive barrier might have been broken by the creature. It really is a foreign creature. When Lin Feng saw the evil beast's corpse, he took a deep breath. These corpses had most likely become special existences like corpse demons. An ordinary ship wouldn't have been able to withstand the attacks of these corpses. Fortunately, the giant ship's defenses were astonishing. In the end, the fleet broke away from the densely packed corpses and escaped from the sea. Only then did everyone let out a sigh of relief. It was too dangerous. But fortunately, it was more daunting than dangerous. Many people began to talk about the corpses. They guessed what might have happened here in the past. Lin Feng, Du Zhu, and the Void Umbra beasts returned to the private room. Du Zhu was someone who couldn't stay idle. Soon after, he returned and said mysteriously, "I found a good place." Lin Feng asked curiously, "What kind of place?" "There's a place called the Blissful Pavilion on this ship. The women there are all top-notch. There are all kinds of women, and there are even women from various races. If you can afford it, you can even buy the rights to a top-notch virgin's first night there." Du Zhu's saliva was about to drip out. There was such a service on this giant ship. Lin Feng didn't find it strange. After all, it took a long time to sail the sea. Many people found it hard to endure loneliness. They needed to find women to vent. This was a business opportunity. Lin Feng wasn't very interested in such a place. Du Zhu, on the other hand, was in high spirits. The Void Umbra Beast wasn't interested either. In the end, Du Zhu went there himself. Soon after, someone knocked on the door. The Void Umbra Beast went to open the door. A beautiful female cultivator stood outside and looked into the private room. "What are you looking at?" The Void Umbra Beast's gaze was cold. The beautiful female cultivator's face paled slightly, and she said, "Sir, please give the jade tube to your young master." The female cultivator handed the jade tube to the Void Umbra Beast, bowed, and left. The Void Umbra Beast closed the door and went to Lin Feng's side. "Young master, the female cultivator asked me to give this jade tube to you." Lin Feng nodded. He had also seen the female cultivator. She was tall and slender, and her long legs had left a deep impression on him. However, he remembered that he didn't know her. Why did she give him such a jade tube? What was so special about it? Chapter 1620. When Lin Feng's divine sense entered the jade tube, the corner of his mouth suddenly revealed a strange expression. Seeing Lin Feng's strange expression, the Void Shadow Beast asked curiously, "Young master, is there anything wrong with the contents of this jade tube?" "You'll know when you see it." Lin Feng handed the jade tube to the Void Shadow Beast. The Void Shadow Beast's divine sense sensed it, and the corner of its mouth twitched violently a few times. Then, it placed the jade tube in front of Lin Feng. This jade tube was imprinted with all kinds of diagrams and words. Those diagrams were all the imprints of beautiful women. Some were pure, some were tall, some were voluptuous, some were charming. There were all kinds of beautiful women. Moreover, they were dressed scantily, stroking their hair coquettishly, and making all kinds of seductive gestures. Then, there was a text introduction for each beauty. It mainly introduced their names. Lin Feng guessed that they were also pseudonyms. Age. Characteristics of the charm technique. There were also services. Charging standards. And so on and so forth. Public morals are degenerating day by day. Lin Feng shook his head slightly. Among those women, there were even a few beautiful female cultivators who had reached the deity realm. That was a high and mighty figure. But for money, they also came out to do this. Of course, not everyone could afford to spend a night with them. The overnight fee was more than 5,000 origin crystals. Only a very wealthy cultivator would be able to afford such a price. As expected, beautiful women can have everything when they open their legs. There's no need to work hard at all. Lin Feng smiled bitterly and shook his head. Male cultivators risked their lives and entered all kinds of dangerous places in search of ancient cultivators' caves, secret treasures, and so on. But some female cultivators who had fallen only needed to accompany male cultivators, who felt that all kinds of wealth were at their fingertips. Of course, such female cultivators were only in the minority. In fact, most female cultivators were very conservative. Lin Feng casually threw the jade tube to the side. He was not very interested in these services. Du Zhu returned after 3 days and 3 nights. When he returned, his glabella was dark and his steps were unsteady. He looked like he had overexerted himself. Lin Feng said, "Do you want me to prescribe you some tonic medicine?" Du Zhu grinned. "It's nothing serious. Young people don't need to be afraid of overexerting themselves. They'll be fine after a few days of rest. Are you a youngster?" Lin Feng could not help but roll his eyes. The female deacon came to Lin Feng. She bowed towards Lin Feng and said, "Young master, there will be a Dao Arts exchange on the 888th floor. This is the admission ticket. If young master is interested, you can use the admission ticket to head to the VIP conference hall on the 888th floor at 6 in the evening tomorrow." The female deacon gave Lin Feng 3 admission tickets. Lin Feng nodded. The female deacon then took her leave. Lin Feng was rather interested in this Dao Arts exchange. Those who could live on the 888th floor were obviously of extraordinary status. Some of these people had come from the 9 States continent, and were now returning to the 9 States continent. Most of them were experts from the various powers in the outer realm. It could be said that experts were as common as clouds. This kind of Dao arts exchange was of a relatively high level. One could benefit a lot from discussing Dao arts. The next day, Lin Feng went to the Dao arts exchange. Du Zhu was not interested in it. Thus, Lin Feng and the Void Shadow Beast went to the Dao arts exchange. Du Zhu was lying on the sofa alone with his legs crossed. He was eating spirit fruits and humming a tune. Suddenly, he caught sight of the jade tube that Lin Feng had thrown on the sofa. "What is this?" Du Zhu muttered. He held the jade tube in his hand and used his divine sense to enter it. "Wow! It's so good!" The poison ancestor cried out as saliva flowed out of his mouth. About 100 cultivators came to the Dao Arts Exchange. They gathered in groups of 3 to 5 and whispered to each other. Lin Feng saw 3 monks. They were 3 extremely young monks. Although they were young, they were all unfathomable. Especially the monk in the lead. There were 5 rays of Buddhist light behind his head. As for the other 2 monks, one had 3 rays of Buddhist light behind his head, while the other had 2 rays of Buddhist light behind his head. They were not simple people either. In Buddhism, only senior monks who had achieved the Tao would have Buddhist light behind their heads. Apart from the 3 monks, Lin Feng also saw 6 or 7 Taoist priests. They were old and young, and all of them had a sage-like demeanor. Not long after, a beautiful woman came to the living room. Her arrival attracted the attention of many people. This beautiful woman was alluring, charming, and mature. She was the best of the best. The way the man looked at the beautiful woman was somewhat different. The women looked at the beautiful woman with jealousy. The beautiful woman's arrival became the center of attention. Beautiful women were easily the center of attention. This beautiful woman was called Zero. Her origins were mysterious. Many experts gathered around her. Amitabha. 3 monks walked towards Lin Feng. They put their palms together and chanted Buddhist scriptures. They bowed to Lin Feng. "Greetings, masters." Lin Feng cupped his fists. "Benefactor, you have an affinity with Buddha," the leading monk said. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. This monk was not simple. Could it be that he had sensed the Buddhist divine ability that he cultivated? Lin Feng cultivated the Great Karma Technique and the Great Purification Technique. These were both Buddhist divine abilities. He said calmly, "Master, you are right. Speaking of which, I do have an affinity with Buddha. Back then, when I encountered danger in the starry sky world, I was saved by a holy monk. May I know the name of that holy monk?" the young monk asked. "Holy Monk Ji Yuan," Lin Feng said. "It's ancestor Ji Yuan?" The 3 monks were shocked. Lin Feng sighed. "Unfortunately, the holy monk died there in order to save us." "What? Has the primogenitor passed away?" The 3 monks looked at each other. They put their palms together. Then, he began to recite the scriptures to ferry the souls of the dead. He was ferrying the souls of the dead holy monks. Lin Feng muttered to himself. The holy monks group was an eminent monk from the Buddhist world. Could it be that these 3 young monks were also from the Buddhist world? It seemed like that was a possibility. After they finished ferrying the holy monk, the 3 monks looked sorrowful. The leading monk said, "My name is Liao Kong. This is my 3rd junior brother, Liao Fan, and this is my 7th junior brother, Liao Wu. May I know your name, benefactor?" "Lin Qing." Lin Feng cupped his fists. He did not say his real name, as that would cause a huge commotion. After all, who in the world did not know him? In the past, the 3 of us listened to the ancestors' teachings. Now that he has passed away, our hearts are filled with grief. We want to know how he passed away, but we don't know if it would be convenient for Benefactor Lin to tell us what happened that year," Liao Kong asked. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Of course. It's like this." Lin Feng told them about what had happened in the ancient city in the starry sky. He heard that holy monk Ji Yuan had sacrificed himself to fight against the foreign creatures and died in the end. Liao Kong, Liao Fan, and Liao Wu put their palms together and said, "The ancestor was a Buddhist for his entire life, but in the end, he sacrificed himself for the sake of others. In the future, he would definitely have reached paradise. Amitabha. Chapter 16:21. After sorting out their emotions, the expressions of the three brothers became much calmer. Lin Feng had a deep conversation with the three of them, and he discovered that they all had a deep understanding of the Tao. Especially monk Liao Kong, whose understanding of the Tao made Lin Feng feel ashamed of his inferiority. Liao Kong was the kind of person who looked like a fool. He had a unique way of looking at things, but he would not deliberately show off. Liao Fan's tall and burly figure did not make him look like a monk. Instead, he looked like a mighty general who had fought on the battlefield. He had a rather impatient personality, so he was the most talkative when it came to exchanging cultivation insights. He would say whatever came to mind, regardless of whether it was right or wrong. Liao Fan was quiet and did not speak much, but when he did speak, he was usually very insightful and focused. They got along well with each other. This exchange was first for exchanging cultivation insights, and secondly, it was a small-scale trade fair. Lin Feng had participated in this kind of Tao spell exchange meeting more than once, so he was very familiar with this kind of small but high-level Tao spell exchange meeting. Those who could participate in such an exchange were not simple people. Therefore, they usually had some good things in their hands. As for some things that he didn't need, he could take them out and exchange them for treasures that he could use. It was the same for this Tao art exchange. After the Tao Technique Exchange Conference ended, an old man presided over the subsequent small-scale trade fair. The old man also introduced himself. The old man was called Sun Wu, and he was the elder in charge of the 888th level. Sun Wu smiled and said, "I'll start this trade fair. I have a piece of phoenix bloodstone here, a stone that has been stained with phoenix blood and turned into a divine stone. I want to exchange it for a piece of purple gold god's fire iron." Phoenix blood? Many people were shocked. Sun Wu took out the phoenix blood stone. It was a stone about the size of a fist. There was an obvious blood stain on the stone, and the blood stain emitted a scorching flame energy. Many people were tempted and wanted to exchange for the phoenix blood stone. Perhaps they could study the phoenix blood. For cultivators, the Phoenix clan was a very mysterious clan. However, the purple gold god's fire iron that Sun Wu needed was also very extraordinary. It was not easy to take out such a treasure. After waiting for a long time, seeing that no one came out to make a deal with Sun Wu was stunned. Anzirus stood up and said, "I just happen to have a piece of purple gold godly fire iron here. I'll trade it with you." As she spoke, Anziro took out a piece of immortal iron and made a deal with Sun Wu. One after another, people took out all kinds of treasures to trade. However, Lin Feng had never participated in it. Nowadays, there were very few treasures that could pique his interest. "I have 243 ancient star diagrams. I want to exchange them for 3,000 herbs that are over 70,000 years old." And Zero took out a jade tube. Clearly, this jade tube contained an ancient star chart. The ancient star map was extremely precious. When Nziro took out the ancient star map to trade, it naturally attracted the interest of many people. However, it was too difficult to take out 3,000 stalks of 70,000-year-old and above spiritual herbs at once. The main reason was that spirit herbs would begin to wither and die after they reached 50,000 years of age. Spirit herbs that could continue to grow were very rare. Therefore, it was extremely difficult to cultivate spirit herbs that were 70 or 80,000 years old. Lin Feng said, "I can trade with you." And Zero looked at Lin Feng, bowed slightly, and handed the jade tube to Lin Feng. Lin Feng handed over 3,000 stalks of spirit herbs that were over 70,000 years old to Nziro. "We have an ancient Buddhist kasaya here. We want to trade it for a saraira or a bodhi seed." Monk Liao Kong took out a kasaya. The kasaya was embedded with a consecrated glass pearl that was surrounded by a Buddhist aura. It was definitely a precious treasure. Many people were tempted. Wearing such a kasaya would make it difficult for evil spirits and ghosts to harm them in the future. It was the bane of all evil spirits. However, the Bodhi seed and the Saraira that monk Liao Kong needed were too rare. The Bodhi seed was a sacred item born from the Bodhi tree. The Saraira was a sacred item left behind by an ancient Buddha who had passed away. Both the Bodhi seed and the Saraira were very difficult to find. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. He had a Bodhi seed and a Saraira on him. The Bodhi seed and the Saraira were both precious treasures of Buddhism. But in reality, the Saraira's effect was not that great for other cultivators. This was because some of the Tao contained in the Saraira was the Tao of Buddhism. It was useful for Buddhist cultivators. It was naturally not useful for people who did not cultivate Buddhism. Although the Saraira could also restrain evil spirits, its effect was far inferior to the Bodhi seed. Lin Feng said, I obtained a Saraira by chance back then. Lin Feng took out the Saraira and exchanged it with monk Liao Kong. The small trade fair lasted for about 4 hours and only ended late at night. The crowd dispersed one after another. Monk Liao Kong said, Benefactor Lin, when you have time, let's exchange more cultivation insights. Lin Feng nodded and said, When the time comes, I will pay a visit to the 3 masters. After chatting for a while, the 2 of them returned to their respective rooms. They had just returned. Bang! 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 There was a knock on the door. The void shadow beast opened the door to the room. It found the charming and beautiful woman, and Zairu, standing outside. What's the matter? The void shadow beast asked. His voice was always cold, even when facing such a delicate beauty like Zero. And Zairu said, Please help me report that Zero is here to see your young master. I already heard it. Fairy, come in. Lin Feng's voice rang out. The void shadow beast allowed Zairu to enter the room. The void shadow beast was quite tactful. He closed the door and strolled out. Lin Feng gestured for Zairu to sit down. Zairu sat on the soft sofa next to Lin Feng. Lin Feng asked, May I know why Fairy is visiting so late at night? Zairu giggled and said, If there's nothing, can I visit Lin Gongzi? Zairu was naturally beautiful. She was charming and mature. Her every move. She exuded an alluring aura. Now that she smiled, she was becoming more and more alluring. Lin Feng muttered to himself. This woman's style was quite bold and unrestrained. Could it be that she wanted to seduce him? Of course, Lin Feng was only thinking about it in his heart. This Zairu was being very mysterious. Lin Feng did not think that this woman would try to seduce him. He smiled and said, I welcome Fairy here at any time. It's just that the night is long, and a man and woman are alone in a room. I don't have any problems with that, but I'm afraid that some rumors will spread. It won't be good for Fairy's reputation. Zairu licked her red lips and looked at Lin Feng. She smiled charmingly and said, What kind of rumors does young master want to spread? That woman was really charming. Lin Feng's heart couldn't help but start pounding when he saw her charming and seductive face.